endless maze, but I could love you forever if you'd meet my gaze. sweep you away. Don't fall for the monsters in this maze, but I could love you forever if you'd meet my gaze.
Right, there we are. That's enough of that. That's enough of that. No more nonsense. All right, welcome in. It's Tuesday. It's been a day for you. Well, not much of a day. It's kind of been a day for your boy Ando. This morning started eventfully uneventful in that I had to get an Uber to work because my car was getting serviced. Ugh. 40 degrees C and 56% humid. I mean, that's okay. I mean, humidity sucks, but I'm like, if it was high humidity, I feel like that'd be worse because, like, I always hate high humidity versus just heat in general. Like, if it was 40 degrees crisp, I'm like, cool, I can manage 40 degrees crisp. But no, the big moist, ugh. But yeah, I had to get an Uber to work this morning, and it was supposed to be a 3-minute wait time, right? It was like, if I can draw you a mind map, it was like, go 100 meters down a road, turn left, go 500 meters down a road, turn right, go 50 meters. That was the route. Hey, welcome in, Rins. How you doing? That was the route, right? This guy managed to fuck up so badly, he wound up 2 suburbs away from me and had to turn around and try and get back to where I was. I was following him on the app, and I was like, Jesus Christ, like, this is some Sims 1 level, like, pathfinding. I don't know how this guy managed it, but, like, he turned a 3-minute wait time into a 15-minute wait time. I was just watching this like Jesus Christ, he missed like 5 of the obvious turns. Am I a turtle or a tortoise? Good question. Good question. The answer is, all tortoises are turtles, but not all turtles are tortoises. This is Ando's cladistics lessons for the day. So, both are in the order Chelonia, archaically called Testudo. That's the order that contains turtles, and it's turtles, tortoises, terrapins, sliders, all that good stuff. Tortoises fall within a specific group within that larger family. So, am I a tortoise? Question mark. Am I a turtle? Yes. But yes, indeed, Callie, rip. So I wound up, thankfully I wasn't too late, but I was like 10 minutes late for work, which no one noticed because my boss wasn't there. Fuck yes, got away with it. But it was still just one of those things where, like, also thank you for follow-ins. Yeah, I set everything up to try and get to work on time, and still somehow they managed to bungle it for me. But yeah, it's just one of those things where you kind of look at it and it's just like, it keeps getting worse, and you're just like, how can this keep getting worse? Alright, well, I hope you have a good time, because we're about to play some Satisfactory, and you'll listen to me yap and complain for the whole time of it. That's okay, Callie, I probably deserve it. He must vent his wrath on someone better me than you. He's like, Ando, play the damn game. But yes, today's goal is I'm going to upgrade all my mining infrastructure, because I can now build level 2 mining machines, and I have stuff for that. But you'll probably hear me complain a lot, because I've actually been, once again, spending time at work, working on, the flux dump bins at the, furnace, and every time I look at those things, I just keep complaining in my brain of, like, why can't I set up my storage like this in Satisfactory? I'm glad you enjoy it. We do a lot of yapping here. You'll be inundated with a plethora, a multitude of nonsense here. Which has a following limit? What? What? Well, all right. Don't hold back, El Purple. What's the limit? What's the number? The numbers, Mason. What do they mean? Because I know Blue Sky had a limit that was like, they stopped you following people, within a certain bracket. Why are there so many dismantled crates? We don't ask that question, Paradoxica. No, the real answer is because my factory used to be over here, and it was, like, too congested and was having problems. So, I demolished it all, but because there was so much stuff, I couldn't pick up all of it. So there's kind of just random stuff. Because yeah, 2K people follow. Yeah, I don't think I've followed 2K people. I follow a lot of VTubers, but even then I don't think I followed 2K. Yeah, that's odd. I'm kind of surprised why they've done that. Because I feel like it can't be a list thing, because like of all those 2K people, like not all of them are going to be streaming simultaneously. Oh boy, that's full. Where are we? Let me just when the first one fills up, just build another one. This has been your lesson for the day, chat. There we go. And now the tower will continue to grow. Yeah, so Blue Sky put in a thing for a while. I don't know if they still have it, but they had a thing for a while which would, like, it capped the amount of people you could follow within a certain time frame. But they did that entirely to prevent people from spamming. Because it was to stop people from, like, using bots and just being like, I'm going to follow everyone. Follow for a follow. Exactly, just build another one and another one and another one. Exactly, all the way to heaven. Storage Tower of Babel, let's go. Just build a whole bunch of these things. We're gonna need them. Also, we're gonna overheat our crafting button. But yeah, I keep looking at the storage bins at work and getting mad that I can't use a similar system for Satisfactory. Like, it would be so much easier if I could just allocate. And I know smart, what are they called? Smart thingamajigs. These guys, smart splitters, can, like, kind of do that. But even then, they still can't do quite what I want to do. That's right, I had Caterium. Is my Caterium up and running yet? I have a bunch of ingots. These are my Caterium ingots. There we go. Conveyor belt Mark 1, conveyor belt Mark 2. Eh, it's good enough. It's not 100% efficiency, that's fine. I've got 2 of them. Doesn't really matter too much. And I've got a fair bit of Caterium. Because again, ideally, what I would love to do is build buffers like this, fill these up, and then have them feed into actual manufacturing hubs. Because, again, that's how we do it in the real world. Oh yeah, that's right, I have a random power pole here that I don't know if I have it connected to anything. Anyway, what was I going to do? Upgrade mining machinery. There we go. Well, first step, I think I'm going to go and do my coal plants. Actually, no, I'm going to do the iron ore plants that feed my steel production, because they are underproducing. If I put them up to maximum production, that will help my steel flow. So there is logistics at work here. Also, why is this all stopped? Why is it this? So this is all stopped because clearly this has reached capacity. Or... No, this is... Okay, this has reached capacity, but it's... hasn't reached capacity, if that makes sense. The merger... Okay, that's still producing plenty of that. Okay, that's just backed up because that's reached saturation. Very good. Very good. Very good. Excellent. Actually, what's the limiting factor on you at the moment? Actually, it does seem to be coal. It does seem to be coal. I thought it was iron, but no, it seems to be coal. We've saturated our coal feed. In which case... So we've saturated our iron feed. In which case... Yeah, I swear I was having problems with my iron feed previously. Oh well. Again, would love to centralize my iron storage and my just my everything storage, really. Here's our iron mines up in the east, and our Oomst is being hostile to me. Oh, you. What are you doing here? Get out of my mine works. Yeah, this was the one that I set up to feed my ironworks. And then up here is my coal plant that we haven't visited in a long time, because this is all my coal power. with my extra water that I piped in from across the way. I got pipes. I got mysterious throbbing things. So these all seem to be pretty well saturated, which is good, because that means I can put in more coal power plants. Oh, I love my spaghetti pipes. I love my spaghetti pipes. But I don't even really need more power. Oomst. Oh, yeah, there you are. Alright, let's fucking go. There's another one. How did you wake up? I thought I killed you. Get slapped. Maybe if I produce an excess of coal, I'll be able to siphon off even more of it. Ah. Bitter. Ow. How dare you. Slap! You just have a billion biomass. Great. You just keep running. I don't even actually need you. You were just to start this up so I could then start my generators. Okay. Missing materials? What am I missing? Oh, I'm missing encased beams. That's it. Damn it. I knew it was something else I had to craft. Oh well. I'm gonna get some encased beams. Encased beams that jet fuel cannot melt. Alright, back down we go. Spaghetti. Not falling down. There's a hole around here somewhere that I always fall down. It takes me to like the fucking void. I'm pretty sure... And was I taking any coal from here for my iron works? I don't think I was. My steel works? I don't think I was. Did I use all the coal? Oh, cool. I can split my... my coal supply up here and plug it down further. Actually, no, in which case, if they're split, I thought they were aggregated, but they're not. If they're not, I'll leave this going because this has got full saturation. And I'll upgrade my mine head at the other coal site that I used for my steel production. I didn't know this. Ando's learning a thing. Increase my coal production, increase my steel production. Sounds good. Good plan, Ando. Because, I mean, really, it doesn't matter if my iron is saturated. I could potentially get higher iron rates, but I don't really need higher iron rates if I can increase my steel production. Like, it don't matter. Hello, doggo. Do you have anything for me? Oh, you have berries. Good boy. Good lizard. Alright, let's make some encased steel beams. That reminds me, what else have I got for the next... Okay, I got to make motors, that's right. And I was building stuff for motors. For oil processing. So I can make oil. Get invaded by the US Army. Encased steel beams. In case of steel beam. Press button. Where are we? Where's my concrete works? It's over here somewhere. Me 500. You know what? I might upgrade this first because this isn't running at full capacity. So I might make it my prototype. How many do I need for Miner Mark II? N. That's the solution. Alright. Encase those beams. Who up encasing they beam? Okay, there we go. That's all we need. Find a Mark II. There we go. It's got an even bigger drill now. An even bigger motor. $60 a minute. That's a pretty good rate, I'm not gonna lie. Still not quite enough. Can I... Let's conveyor Mark II. Conveyor Mark II. I feel like this would actually maybe be better with Mark I conveyors. Huh. Well, there you go. The more you know. Have I improved my efficiency? I don't think so, actually. Maybe I will. Maybe only time will tell. It's going up. It's going up very slowly, though. Okay. Build some more beams. Yeah, I need 20. My RSI thanks the fact that I don't have to keep clicking this button. I can just hold it. Hold it and continue to craft. Also, what was I doing? Because I need to make motors. So I've got stators or whatever. I'm building those. And I need rotors, I think. I need rotors for my motors. I'm just going to make a couple more of these. That'll do.
Tens of thousands.
Thank you, Mike. That is in fact what I need. Alright, where are we? What do I need for motors? So I need stators and I need rotors. I need stators and rotors for my motors. I can space to craft? No, I did not know that. And now I do. I probably still won't, but I know this. I've now learned. What I really need is motivation. Absolute fucking bop of a song. There's a reason why I have that on monitor. It's so that when people redeem that, A, I know that it's been redeemed, and B, I can hear it and enjoy it. I only have one coal mine here? I only have one here, no fucking wonder it's choking. Do I seriously only have one here? I thought I had two here. Yeah. Coal. I have that one right there. Yeah, okay, there's only one here. Oh, there's another coal pile that's not a mineable one. I can't put a miner on it, I don't think. Yeah, it doesn't like that. Doesn't like that at all. What a terrible, terrible place. What a terrible, terrible set of circumstances. This planet, man. Alright. Cool. So that you're not my limiting factor. You are my limiting factor. Zoop. Zoop. So it wasn't the mine head all along, it was the conveyor belt. It was the fact that Ando is cheap. And won't pay for the fancy conveyor belts. This planet, man. Game over, man. Need reinforced iron plates. Alright, time to go back to crafting. Yeah, man. Bill Paxton was a loss. Don't be cheap. Callie, think of the savings. Go till your deserts, go dig your graves, and fill your mouth with all the money you have saved. It's time for spoken word Slipknot in the manner of fuck, what's his name? Who played Kirk? Why am I blanking on his name? My brain's saying Leonard Nimoy, but that was Spock. William Shatner, that's it. In the fashion of William Shatner. I don't like Satisfactory, but at the same time, I don't like something undone, Gravy Boat. It's not that I don't like it, it's that the game does things that annoy me on account of the fact that it's not actually automation, it's programming disguised as automation. There are so many ways to do things in this game better in real life. Like, here is, like, you know, storage bins and like, single conveyor outputs with a tripper and stuff like that. I'm Slim Shady. Well, you other Slim Shadys are just imitating. And do you know what the best thing is, right? That before Adam West passed away, right? Adam West, for those of you who don't recall, was the actor who played the Batman in the original, like, Batman 1960s series, right? The very campy one. When DC started doing they started doing a Batman retro comic, which was like Batman in the style of the 60s show. And they did some animated movies of it as well. And they got Adam West to reprise his role as Batman. They got him to voice Batman. And the one a lot of people were asking for was, they were like, please, can we have Will Shatner and Adam West together? And they actually did, for the last one that they did before Adam West passed away. Unfortunately, he passed away before it was released, but they'd finished all the recordings. They had Will Shatner as the voice of, I think it was Two-Face, who'd never actually appeared in the original TV show. They like added him. This was like our interpretation of that character. You know, had he been in the original 1960s version. It was kind of one of those bittersweet things of like we finally got the Shatner and Adam West together doing very campy Batman stories. Adam West, Catman, and Fairly Odd Parents. That is also kind of true. I got so many screws. What are you? You're making rotors for my motors. Yes, I got 85 rotors for my motors. I mean, I agree with the sentiment there, Mike. Like, again, I feel like just that era in general had so many people blowing smoke up each other's ass. Like, I feel like after like the late 90s era, when people actually got shot, like after Tupac and Biggie got shot, I think everyone just cooled it, and we got into that era of like just everyone blowing smoke up their ass. You know, we got the era of, oh, they're the greatest, and, you know, anyone who says otherwise is an idiot sort of thing. Hey, Floating Head, how you doing? I swear I had a second thing of rod production or something, or maybe I've turned that into screws, I don't know. How it goes? It goes. And Ando's trying to remember what he actually did last time. I know I built some production and did some other things. I'm upgrading I was going to upgrade my miners, but I realized that my miners aren't actually the problem. It's my conveyor belts. So now I need to build a bunch of reinforced steel plates. Give me a bunch of these, and I'll turn these into screws. But I will say this. Mike. I think 8 Mile is actually a genuinely good film. I didn't like it back in the day when I came out, A, because I was like 12, and B, like, it was one of those things of I was getting into my metal phase and was like, ugh, anything related to rap music, anything related to the hip-hop, but, like, watching it in retrospect, it's actually a decent movie. Finished captioning a VOD, no wonder it's paid position, that took hours, oof. Oof. Yeah, I also feel like the longer the VOD is, the worse it would be. What I would love would be like a auto-generate captions feature with then an edit. Like, you know, when it gets it like 90% right and it's cool, I just gotta fix these 1 or 2 things. Yeah, again, I haven't paid enough attention to him. Like, and it's one of those things where, because he kind of dropped out for a while. Like, I get that he was still doing stuff, but I feel like there was a lot of people, again, like him from that era, who kind of dropped off and just went and did other shit. And I'm like, I'm cool with that, right? You know, secure the bag in your youth and then go do other things. Kind of like Rick Moranis, where he was, like, acting, and then he dropped out of acting because his wife died, and was just like, yeah, I'm just focusing on raising my kids. And everyone was like, look, it'd be great if you came back, but, you know, do what you gotta do. No one's gonna hold it against you, right? Interesting. Yeah, YouTube will do some interesting stuff. YouTube actually resulted in a meme between me and a friend, because I was watching a video on arachnids, and they referred to a tailless whip scorpion, also known as an amblypyge. But amblypyge is really hard to say, and it's even fucking harder to spell, so a lot of people just call them tailless whip scorpions. And the captioning turned that into the Taylor Swift scorpion. So it became this running joke of getting that and photoshopping photos of Taylor Swift onto it with a friend of mine who's a bug expert. So, yeah, we have this running joke of, again, the infamous Taylor Swift scorpion, rare and, you know, hard to find. Yeah, it's gotten better. The auto-generated captions have gotten better. Actually, the one I really like is some of the auto-translate captions are actually pretty good. Because I've been watching some Japanese stuff recently of like Japanese products being announced, like new Gundam kits and stuff like that. And the auto-generate captions are usually pretty good. They're not excellent. They miss some things, particularly words that are not standard words. But it gets most of it that I can usually make the inference on my own of like, okay, I know what that word is supposed to be. Fuck, I need more iron plates. Surely I have a machine making iron plates for me somewhere. Demonetized because auto captions messed up. Interesting. I didn't know auto captions could get you demonetized. What's the issue? Like, what is it demonetized based on? I'm assuming like curse words or something. Because I know YouTube has a bunch of weird stuff where they're like, oh, if you have cursing within the first, like, 3 minutes of a video or something, you get demonetized. This is where I look at them and be like, joke's on you, I was never monetized. Okay, steel plates. What are you choking on? You're choking on screws. I need to inject more screws into this. Hang on a second. Bearbolts Mark 1. What if I were to delightfully devilish endo? What if I were to inject more screws into this machine faster? If I were to just do a little bit of that. There we go. Alright, thanks for dropping by, Gravy. Enjoy the eeps. Thanks for hanging out. Have I got more plates? Oh, hell yes, I got so many plates. Look at this man's plates. Look at this man's plates. Jingle bells? Interesting. How does one misidentify jingle bells? Also, what the? Oh, it needs more screws. That's why it's choking. Well, in that case, Conveyor Belt Mark II, more screws. Yes, there we go. Feed rates, feed rates, feed rates. Still not quite fast enough, but we're getting there. Actually, can I take this to a Mark III? What do I need for Mark III? Oh, I can take this to a Mark III. Look at it fucking go. Look at it fucking go. But yeah, circling back for a minute, I was gonna say also, Mike, I think 8 Mile also ties into something that I've been talking about with people recently, and something that I am a long-standing believer in. Hollywood has gotten worse due to the death of the like low budget, well, not low budget, but like middle budget movie, which I think is probably what 8 Mile fits into. Because it's like, you know, you used to have like low budget films that were like indie films where people were like either cut their teeth or they were making something they were really passionate about. It was like the whole point was that they were making it cheap. And then you got like the mid-budget stuff, which was where again people tended to kind of learn their craft and come up with, like, you know, they had to come up with innovative solutions because they didn't have the budget of a big budget movie. And this is where we got really good films like Alien, Karate Kid, Top Gun. Like, these were all medium budget films. But Hollywood has gotten addicted to the epic. They've gotten addicted to the idea of just, oh, everything needs to be big and, like, you know, tremendous and triumphant. Therefore, is this a Mark II? Let's make it a Mark III. Fixing my screw problems. Low rates, let's go! Nyum. Yeah, I haven't had to mute anything floating yet. I have had to re-upload some VODs to YouTube. I actually haven't done that yet. For some reason, a couple of my VODs for whatchamacallit, Stories of the Soul didn't, like, when I used the Twitch export function, it just failed. It'd just be like, sorry, video failed. So I had to download them and now I have to like manually re-upload them. I don't know. Me shake head, I don't know. You've seen a lot of I've seen a lot of white rappers lately who are still considered, yep. Yep. Not making a judgment, giving it a pass. I just find it interesting that they have no authority either way. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where, again, I feel like people make choices. Whether or not those choices are good depends on the context that they're, well, I was going to say, how do we put this? Whether or not those choices are A, allowed, and B, defensible, wildly varies. Because, again, often people can make an indefensible choice, but face no consequences because of the context that they're in. You know, it's that classic, oh yeah, they've clearly done something fucked up, but will face no consequences because of the context that they're in. Although, kind of surprised as well, considering that, you know, the history of the rap and hip-hop scene, I would have thought there would have been way more people around in that who would have been like, yeah, we're kind of, shall we say, not cool with this. Well, it depends. So I think there are there's context that can allow certain things. So, for instance, you know, one of the caveats that one of my lecturers had when I was at uni was like, you know, welcome to, you know, this course. Like, this is a course on like dictatorships and like bad things of history, right? We are going to be talking about some rough shit, right? We are going to be talking about certain ideologies that are, shall we say, morally repugnant, right? Within context, I don't have a problem with you, discussing certain things or, using certain terms if it is within the context of discussing the ideology. And, they're like, I expect you to be responsible and respectful. Don't, just go and say shit because you're a heel. But it's one of those things of, like, we can't actually respectfully discuss this in a, like, intellectual and academic context if we don't use some of these, ideologies and things like that. We don't actually discuss them. This rap is, again, not justifying it. Literally grew up in a ghetto and in a gang, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Again, I don't pay enough attention, Mike. That's how Ando survives. Ando has to be kind of ambivalent to a lot of things. I feel like because I am someone who stores a lot of information in my brain, if I tried to have an opinion on too many things, I would explode. I already have an opinion on a lot of things. I'm kind of like, I cannot make an educated judgment without knowing more on this, and honestly, I do not have the time to know more on this. This is a fun thing that, well, not a fun thing, this is something that has become an occurrence as Ando has gotten older. I don't want to say I was that guy, but when I was younger, I was, shall we say, relatively opinionated on a lot of things, and sometimes with good reason. But that was because I was unemployed and at university and had the time to be opinionated on a lot of things. Now that I am significantly older and employed, it's like, I would like to have opinions on things that actually matter. I cannot afford to not have opinions on certain things in exchange for opinions on things that do not matter. Hooray, conveyor belts are working. I like this. Old, employed, exactly. Boring. Is there an end to this game, like a goal? No, Callie. No, there isn't. The only goal is capitalism. No, it kind of is. So you see this space elevator? We're currently at phase 2. We're getting it to phase 3. The idea is that we have to get this built and, air quotes, save the day. But save the day really is just company propaganda. Yeah, exactly. So now I have opinions on things that air quotes, actually matter. And that's why I come on stream and give you guys the opinions that don't matter. Nyum. There we go, look at all this fucking coal. Here we go. Nyum. Look at how fucking fast it's going. Look at that. Look at that shit. Hang on. I need to find out what fucking emote is that avatar? Oh, it is a hole. I see. I was like, is that a coal emote? Every coal is a goal, but no, it was in fact every hole is a goal. What even is this wiggly thing? Do you not know what that what Pokemon is it? It's a Pokemon. It's one of the starter ones. I'll remember its name eventually. It's a fucking seal. And it became it wiggling became like a meme, and then a bunch of people got it turned into emotes on Twitch. So a lot of people have them. I have several. Hang on, there's my one. There's... my emote's not loading into... Okay, there they are. Nemu has at least 2. Pretty sure Junie's got one. Yes, Junie has one. It's the old orange moth. Nio's got one, I'm pretty sure. My emotes would fucking load. There was a point where I had a whole bunch of them. I had like a massive collection of Wigglies. And where's yeah, there we go. I'm trying to remember what the fucking Pokemon's actually even called. It's from a generation that is not familiar to me because I'm old and it's not like Gen 1 or 2. Anyone else got one? No, where else? I think that's all of the Wigglies I have at the moment. But here is my collection of Wigglies. There you go. There's my collection of Wigglies. Yeah, but let me rephrase, Mike. When I was saying I have opinions, I mean like the like complaining about I can't believe that they made the new Space Marines 3 millimeters taller than the old Space Marines. This completely ruined the game and the hobby. Not quite that inane, but like there was some shit where I was kind of like getting gassed up on it. I'm like, Ando, that shit doesn't matter anymore. I do have some opinions on things. Part of it's also perspective. Yeah, Wigglies. I'm pretty sure I have the credit in mind of who made mine. Double check, because I'm pretty sure I've got the credit in there, and you should be able to find out who made it. Yeah, and that's fair, Mike. I am, how do I put this? I would be willing to have this conversation in a more casual sense. Like, if I was doing a Discord stream, I'd be more willing to dig into this a bit. But because we're on Twitch, I am less, and also because I'm playing a game and my attention is divided, I am, shall we say, less committed to it. Mainly because I'm really worried about misreading something and saying something. Ando's speed running a Twitch ban. Also, again, that's not on you, Mike. As I've said, and I'll say this again because I said this in the rules, right? If I want you guys to stop something, I'll tell you to stop. Right? So don't feel like you got to avoid anything that isn't explicitly covered by the rules. But at the same time, if it's a topic I don't particularly want to discuss, I will be like, hey, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about the fact that I died multiple times playing crabs last night. Don't talk about that, but you can talk about everything else. Yeah, I'm still trying to remember, what the fuck is that seal's name? What is that seal's name from Pokemon? What is the wiggly one? What is it called? What is it called? I remember eventually. Anyway. Hey, welcome, Poplio. Thank you, Cozy Cream Pie. You have won the grand prize of answering Ando's question. Congratulations. There is no reward for this. May God have mercy on your soul. All right, let me get some status. Oh hell yes, I got so many status. Okay, my inventory is full. Okay, maybe I won't have so many status. I'm just gonna upgrade all the belts because I have so many things right now. You're at saturation. You don't need more. Oh, do you hear that, chat? Mike's giving me the pass. I'm good. I can say slurs now. That was a joke, just to be clear. Mercy is the least of your worries. Excellent. I'm glad you've accepted your fate. You will find none here. That's a Mark II belt. Cool. Damn it. Mercy R34. Mike, how did you find my internet history? What I told you. Stay out of my search history. R34D's nut. Where are we? Okay, you're at 46%, so what do you need more of? I'm gonna put more coal. You can have more coal. Here you go. More coal. So we're still not getting quite enough coal throughput. Even though I have upgraded all the conveyor belts and upgraded my mine head. I mean, yes, mine, Mike. I'm pretty sure clearly. If you look at all those R34s you've also been looking at, you'll see in little writing in the corner, it'll be like property of Ando, belongs to Ando, I was here first. I knew what Overwatch was for the day they announced Overwatch. I knew what was coming, figuratively and literally. Fucking Ritalin shortage. I mean, look, Mike, we know what the answer to this is, right? Breaking Bad's how many years old now? The answer is if you can't get your own medical supplies, just make meth, which in this case is exactly what Ritalin is anyway, so just make meth. Which, that's a joke. Not a joke. Do it. That's a joke. Okay. Increase speed. Alright, now we've started it. This was my plan all along. I've incited Mike to change topics and give us a vociferous opinion. Now he'll tell us all about how it's not meth, and then he'll tell us all about how alkaloids and what's it, amino acids are different. Didn't even know what game she was from. That's fair. That's fair. You're better off. You're better off not knowing what Overwatch is. Man, Overwatch has got to be one of the biggest fumbles of all time. And it's proof that executives and bean counters should not be in charge of anything. Because I remember when they announced Overwatch, I was like, this is going to be big. Like, this is going to be the next big, like this is going to be the next World of Warcraft, potentially. Right? Which may sound like an exaggeration, but the point I was thinking at the time was that, like, the Overwatch trailer struck me like a Pixar movie, and I was like, this feels like they have envisaged this as a media franchise. It's not just a game. This is going to be their thing of, like, oh look, there are Fortnite comics, and there are Fortnite movies, and, like, there is, not Fortnite, sorry, it was, yeah, that's what my brain was thinking, was it's gonna be like Fortnite, in that they have all this stuff surrounding it. So it's like, oh yeah, cool, you can play Overwatch, kind of like what League of Legends is doing now. Got warned away from playing Overwatch. Again, it's a fine game, but well, it was a fine game until they ruined it with Overwatch 2. But it's just, yeah, everything else about it's not great. What is this? It's literally different chemical. Methylphenidate versus methylamphetamine. And Adderall, which is detroxamphetamine. Yeah, okay, fair. Look, just take, what was it, Pervitin? What was the one that they all used during the war to keep their pilots awake? The one that Finnish guy got really jacked up on because he took too much by accident when he got shot. If you ever want to see the face of the first man to ever on record overdose on amphetamines, look that guy up, and he has the face of someone who overdosed on amphetamines. Oh, like everyone did. Wasn't just the Germans. The Americans did, the Japanese did. They did not know of its, shall we say, addictive properties at the time. Or they kind of did, they just didn't care, because they were like, we need our pilots to stay awake so they can shoot people. Of course they do. Of course they do, Mike. Because, again, as usual, we probably don't care about the side effects, because we need them to shoot people. Tablets of Vyvanse, lisdexamphetamine, emergency before the shortage. Okay. So, do we know why there's a shortage? Is it just the whole tariffs bullshit, or, like, is this something else going on? I mean, that's a tricky one, Mike. That's the whole no side effects until, you know, they find out that there's side effects. Not to be totally sus here, but methamphetamine used in World War II is quite different. I mean, yes, in the sense that it was mainly used as an energizer as opposed to a mood stabilizer. It was something that was used in order to keep soldiers awake, as opposed to, like, making sure they could function in regular society without their brain doing silly things that irritate them. Worldwide shortage, no answers to why. Intriguing. Interesting. I'm intrigued by this. Because my brain kind of goes to, like, several different thoughts, because, I mean, sometimes, again, it's just corporate fuckery. Sometimes it's corporate fuckery, but also, sometimes it's other types of corporate fuckery, in the sense of, sometimes shortages have occurred. I'm trying to think of one. I'm trying to remember one, but my brain's failing me. Sometimes shortages happen because a company is like, ha ha ha, we're totally going to, like, you know, upgrade our production capacity or whatever, like, you know, this totally isn't going to be a problem, and then it falls over and they go, oh shit, it's a problem, and they basically just bungle their whole, like, distribution network or their whole production network because they're shit. They succumb to hubris, and they manage to fuck up something very simple and very profitable. Alright. Reduce quick wire. Hubris, a truly earned fail. Actually, did I talk about this the other week? So, fun story. I had to do my process safety training the other week. For those of you who don't know, process safety is basically a, how do we stop shit from exploding? I kind of enjoy process safety from a, like, theoretical perspective of, like, it's interesting to see how we make things not explode. It's also kind of funny looking at things explode, in the sense of, like, this is impressive in how big of a failure it was, not in the haha people died kind of way. It's this is funny because of how big the explosion was. Oh god, people died. Like, that's the two stages of thought. But yeah, one of the ones we looked at was, I'm trying to remember what it's called. It was a place in the UK in the 1970s. It was a chemical plant. And basically exploded more or less on the basis of hubris. They basically had 4 big reaction vessels that were interlinked, and one of them cracked, so they had to bypass it. And in order to, well, they decided to bypass it. In order to bypass it, they built this, like, pipe that would link reaction. So it was reaction vessel 3 that cracked, I think, and it was like, no, sorry, it was 6. It was 4. No, they had 6 vessels, 5 cracked. It was to link 4 and 6. And so they made this, like, to link them together. But imagine if this is vessel 4, this is 5, and this is 6. 5's in the way, so they had to make one, like, a pipe that came out and around. And basically, they didn't realize that under pressure, that pipe would start to go and wobble, at which point it basically broke, dumped a whole bunch of, like, explosive gas all over the place, which then ignited and just blew up the whole fucking place. And it was basically the hubris of, like, we didn't actually get an engineer to check this, we just got, like, our fitter to design us a pipe. I mean, watching things explode is fun. It's part of why Mythbusters is popular. True facts. Correct facts. They get on stage and go, napalm. Ounce of prevention and all that, but also sometimes there's just some things you look at where you're just like, that's fucking impressive. Like, how did we even manage that? Like, it was a really good one I saw. This was actually from my workplace from a couple of years ago, where they had what's called a ladle breakout. Now, ladle breakouts are not something, you can do preventative work, but sometimes they just happen, right? Whereas we kissed Ando, we'd make a full beard. I shaved my beard down to stubble, but kept the mustache. I look like a cowboy. I mean, look, Mike, I haven't judged you on your mistakes previously, so I won't judge you on this one. And by that I mean the mistake of kissing me, as opposed to the mistake of being a cowboy. Hang on, what have I got? What have I got over here? Have I got anything of value over here? Yeah, this is full of these things. It's cool. It can be full of quick wire as well. Where's a combiner, a merger? We're having a merger, chat. Didn't have Duck do that routine. Napalm! Duck thief and now fire! But yeah, so, what is a ladle breakout? Basically, we have these big things that are called torpedo ladles. They're basically a big, like, oval-shaped container that's lined with bricks. You put liquid steel in them. This is how we move liquid steel by rail. And it keeps it nice and hot and stops it from going solid, and also, again, has bricks inside so that it doesn't, like, melt itself and dump steel everywhere. But in this case, the bricks failed, so it did in fact melt, hole in itself, and dump liquid steel everywhere. Now, once this happens, you cannot stop it. Right? Like, once a breakout occurs, you cannot stop it. You just have to let it drain. They brailed? I don't know what that means. Mike, are you having a stroke? Find the ingredient for napalm in my home? Yeah, probably. Again, there are a lot of recipes for napalm on the internet. None of them are very good. I say this as someone who does actually know how to make incendiaries because of the fact that I did a lot of history and spent a lot of time in archives, reading military documents, and being like, oh, so that's how they make that stuff. So, ladle failed, starts dumping steel everywhere. Usually, what they do if that happens is they get a loco, they hook it up to the loco train, and then they just move it somewhere where it'll dump out the steel and it's not really a problem. In this case, it wasn't too much of a problem because it wasn't really far enough into the shunt yard to cause a problem. What was a problem, though, is the fact that the metal that's liquid ran across the ground and then ran into the drains, and so it was moving through the drains, and so you just watch the camera of it. It was hilarious watching it, because there's this like ladle just leaking liquid metal, and the sparks going everywhere, and then across the railway tracks, this random shed just catches on fire, because all the liquid metal had gotten into the drains and gotten across under the shed and set the shed on fire. And you can see there's a dude who walks past, like, he walks past it, and then, like, a minute later, the shed catches on fire, and he just turns around and is like, why the fuck are you on fire? He's like, my shed. Also, Mike, why were you mentioning iocane? I mean, we know you're Australian, you don't have to mention that iocane powder, the most deadliest of poisons, comes from Australia. I've spent several years developing a resistance to iocane powder. Liquid hell, in other words? Yeah, more or less. Liquid metal's kind of fucked. Unfortunately for Ando, there are very few industrial accident videos on YouTube. There's a couple, but they're all pretty low quality, which is a shame, because again, I would love to do a stream where I just review, like, okay, here's what went wrong here, and here's how you could avoid that by not being a fuckwit. Because there is one where they set a place on fire because their mill stand has a hydraulic failure and just jets hydraulic fuel up into the roof, which then catches on fire. No, not live leak. We're not looking for people to actually die, Mike. Yeah, smacking liquid metal with a shovel. Yeah, so well, there's two things that happen there. The first one is that steel. So, what are sparks? Right? What are sparks? Sparks from when you cut steel is actually tiny pieces of steel catching on fire. Steel and many other items as well, when made small enough and subject to enough energy, will spontaneously combust. Right? Sparks are what you riz. That's true, Mike, because you're an Iron Man. So what's happening there is the fact that they're smacking liquid metal. It's separating out into lots of little small droplets, which are then getting small enough that they basically ignite and turn into sparks. And also, as it gets smaller, it gets like exposed to more air because of surface to volume ratios, in which case it cools faster. Smacking with their bare hands, I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm 90% sure that's due to the Leidenfrost effect. It's basically like the moisture on your hand evaporates and basically creates like a gas layer between your hand and the metal. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. But the video I've seen is people smacking it with a shovel. But again, it's like the biggest risk is just getting shit in your eyes, really. Where are we? Caterium. For safety's sake, do not not take this as an endorsement, chat. Don't do it at home. I need 200. 100%, that's what safety goggles are for. Remember, chat, wear your goggles. Wear your Googles. But yeah, liquid metal does some interesting but also concerning things. I've talked about this before, but there's what we call hot metal water interactions, where if you put water in hot metal, it explodes. Again, I can't actually show you any of the videos from work because we're not allowed to. But we do have a couple of those where we put metal into a furnace with water in it, and it explodes and shoots shit everywhere. Is that why I have a set of goggles on my head? You guessed it, floating head. Oh yeah, well, angle grinders are the worst as well, because often angle grinders you wind up with a blade failure. And you wind up with a very angry piece of angle grinder blade flying around. We actually have certain sizes of grinder banned in my workplace because they just kept having too many injuries with them. They're like, yeah, we're banning these things because they keep exploding and, like, taking people's eyes out. Excellent. I can now limit the AIs. Bloop. What is this? Power switch? I don't care about power switches. I don't need those.
AI limiter recipe unlocked. New Caterium research.
Let's speed connector. What are you? 10 AI limiters. And a bunch of those. Here's a question. How do I make AI limiters? Put peeps in the furnace. I hope you mean peeps as in, like, the little marshmallow things. Avatar, little marshmallow birds. Not actual, like... Not actual, like, people. Don't put people in the furnace. And I noticed it didn't cover the nose. Correct. I mean, I probably would need it, because sea turtles do breathe. Like, we do need air. So welcome in, Naomi. Yellow peeps. We don't actually have those here. We don't actually have peeps here. I've heard they're garbage. I've heard they're arse. AI limiter. Ah, hell yes. I can build none because I don't have any space in my inventory. Peeps are highly overrated. That's what I thought. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. And Americans in chat. Actually, no, I don't apologize. I stand by it. Most of the snacks I've had in America were pretty mid. They were pretty mediocre. Do better. Peeps flavored things on the other hand are delish. Intriguing. Do Americans have banana flavoring? Is that a thing? Because we have bananas. We have like candy bananas that are flavored like, air quotes, bananas. And they're like a thing here. You do? Okay, good. The marshmallow coated in sugar, you can make them yourself. I don't know how to find the good snacks. I guess. I mean, part of it's also just different flavor profiles. Like, I know Americans... Maybe it's just me, so I don't like anything cherry flavored. I don't like any like cherry flavored snacks. So like I don't like Dr. Pepper. And I know there's a whole bunch of stuff in the US that's cherry flavored because for whatever reason America thinks that's good. They're wrong. So me just dying on myself casually. So yeah, there's some of that sort of stuff where like people be like, try this Ando, and I'll be like, it's cherry flavored, it's arse. Blue raspberry. Yeah, I mean, what is blue raspberry? Like, it's really just raspberry flavored but blue. Like, the coloring is the only difference. Hershey's chocolate is so trash. I concur. Norwegian milk chocolate, I've tried it. It's pretty good. I tried the one, well, this one wasn't from Norway, this one's from Sweden. I tried the one that was like chocolate with, like toffee in it or whatever. It was pretty good. Cookies and cream white chocolate is alright. That is a factual statement. That is a factual statement. No, incorrect. I just don't like cherries. Like, even like artificial cherry flavor. Like, artificial cherry flavor I don't like because of the fact that, like, when I was a kid, that was the flavoring of cough syrup. Cough syrup was cherry flavored, and it was arse. But even real cherries I don't particularly like. Actually, Don Snacks, it's not, it is not, milk powder. It's not, well, They might use milk powder, but that's not the reason why it has the aftertaste of vomit. The reason why it has the aftertaste of vomit is because of butyric acid. Butyric acid is used as a shelf stabilizer. It helps prevent it from melting. And that's why it has an aftertaste of vomit, because butyric acid is actually what gives vomit the smell of vomit. Saskatoon berries. Maraschino cherries? No, still no. Again, like, just like you're offering different types of cherry, and it's like, what's that line from The Simpsons? The not even bacon, not even pork. Dad, those all come from the same animal. Yeah, sure, a kind of magical animal. Same shit as in Parmesan. Huh, that makes sense, kind of, Mike. Although I like Parmesan because Parmesan is very umami. Where was I going with this? Also, thank you for the yeets. Let me check something floating here. Mixed berry flavor, that's Saskatoon berries. Doesn't taste anything like raspberries. I do like raspberries too. I actually have some raspberry... Mike's probably going to yell at me for this. I have raspberry licorice downstairs. It's not actually licorice, but it's close enough. And I also have some, like, white chocolate covered raspberries, which are quite nice.
Gouge his eyes!
Thank you. I will indeed gouge the eyes. Damn it. I'm not sure what I actually want to do right now. I want to build these motors. I think I'm hungry. Good to meet you, hungry. I think I'm dead. Punished for cherry hating. I'm sorry. I was just built with... I was built different, and by different, I mean incorrectly. What are you up to? You're still building modular frames very slowly. Where have I been? Failing you, son. That's where I've been. The Michigan landers are disappointed in you. I mean, look, I feel like that's inevitable, right? I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but I feel like Michigan is not exactly a very like turtle friendly state, just at its like baseline. Not that they're unkind to turtles, but just the sense of like, I don't feel like it's an environment where turtles would thrive. I feel like it's a bit too cold. You have turtles? Very good. That's what I like to hear. Continue doing so. Yeah, this is backlogged as fuck, so what I might do... Can I make an injection? I think I can. Yeah, I think that's good for now. As far as I know, our turtles know better than to eat plastic straws. Yeah, it's true, but do they know better than to cross the road? Well, I was gonna say I'm not talking shit about my fellow turtles, but actually, you know what? I am. I've decided I am. Stop getting hit by cars. Do better. Be better. Made chala. Chala. Head chala. Explain further, Mike. What is chala? Also, I agree, Mike. I also am fond of the raspberry, which I've told this story before, but like raspberry flavored stuff is actually kind of hard to come by in Australia, which makes me kind of mad because it's actually quite common in the UK. When I was in the UK, they had these really nice raspberry and cream flavored ice cream, and I was just like, oh, give it to me. Give me more. And then they didn't. They in their perfidy, you can't get it here. Which makes me sad. I'm missing steel beams. Okay, that's fine. I'll just Mark II this shit then. It's a Jewish egg bread, like brioche. Oh yeah, I think you've mentioned this one before. and it's like isn't there like a particular braided shape for it or whatever that's like it's not an actual necessary thing. It's done for tradition or whatever. Not known too many turtle road incidents. I've yet to see many either. Yeah, so turtles have an unfortunate habit in the US and other places that have, like, prodigious amounts of land turtles for getting into road accidents. Mainly on account of the fact that turtles are stubborn. So, for instance, box turtles, eastern box turtles, have a home range, and they always return to their home range. So, if they, like, if you pick them up and try and put them on the side, like, say they're crossing from, like, point A to point B, and you pick them up and put them back at point A, they'll be like, fuck you, and continue trying to go across the road. They are stubborn little bastards, so... The old challah is great for French toast. I mean, that'd be great if I liked eggs, but unfortunately I don't. I have that thing where eggs, no matter how fresh, always smell like sulfur to me. So, I'm always just like, well, guess I'll die. I have some thoughts. So what were you making? You were making rotors, I think? What are you making? Yeah, you're making rotors. Alright, time to increase rotor production, chat. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out. You can't just come around here and walk into my building site. OHS violation. Chala. Chala. Production. Assembler. Putting the arse in assembly. Okay. 1. 2. Short harvest season. Cherry pie is actually good. They want more of a tart. I feel like our resident food expert Mike would be better equipped to give you the answer of what defines a tart. Mike's also our resident expert in tarts as well, as so it happens, so I think it all works out pretty well there. Splitter. Rhubarb pie. Again, I'm not a pie guy. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's wrong with me, chat, but I'm just built different. I like pastry. I just don't like it when you put things in pastry because then it ruins all the crispiness, and I'm like, that's what I wanted. I wanted the crispy. Rhubarb is poisonous if you don't cook it. That's the only problem. Rhubarb is actually really common in Australia. I'm very surprised when I meet Americans who are like, "Oh, I've never eaten rhubarb," and I'm like, "Huh?" Extremely enjoying their meowing can of Monster. Naomi, I don't know what that means, and I'm afraid to ask. Oh, that's right, I need to power these things. How is it poisonous? I actually don't know, Don Snacks. I think it's the leaves. I think it's the leaves, not the stem. I'm pretty sure it's rhubarb leaf is poisonous. Tartan pie is just thickness. Mike, can you tell us about the thickness of the tarts? Yeah, boy. Conveyor merger. There we go. Imagine not knowing my dialect. I mean, I don't know your dialect, but at the same time, I don't understand what you mean by meowing can. Oh, as in morning can of Monster? Is that what you mean? Because I don't drink Monster at all. Period. Always break off the leaves, peel the stalk, and dip it in sugar. Yes, that is a way to eat it. A tart, she's thick. Chirao, that's a thick tart. Oh man, Mike, you've just found one of my favorite hobbies. Love that big catter. I don't know. I just like VTubers. I've said this before. I like VTubers. It's actually not that hard, Floating Head. I wouldn't go as far as to say I recommend growing rhubarb, but it's actually not that hard. Again, really common thing. My pop used to have rhubarb in his garden because, again, it is pretty easy to grow, and it's the reason why it is actually quite common in Australia is because a lot of families used to grow it in their backyard garden as this is a sweet thing that we can put into desserts, and like we can have a sweet thing without having expense. Lemons are another one. Lemon trees really common in Australian like suburban household gardens. Alright. Time to branch out, chat. Oh god, this is gonna back up. This is gonna suck. I'm glad you're being careful with your little lemon tree. My mum has a lemon tree and a lime tree, and they were going really well, and now they've gone like less well, and I don't know why. They're not bad. They've just kind of gotten really stunty. I think part of it was one of them. So this happens at my parents' place because they've got a lot of like not a lot of concrete, but part of their yard has concrete. And I remember one year back when I was still living at home, where we had a thing happen where it was really, really hot in summer, and basically a bunch of my mom's plants just died because the radiant heat bouncing off the concrete, like, incinerated them. And they were away, and she got mad at me. Well, she didn't get mad at me, but she was like, how did all these plants die, Ando? And I was like, I could not save them. They were literally being incinerated. Like, it was an oven out here. And I showed her, I was like, you can see where the leaves are literally burnt, like scorched on their edges. And she was like, okay, I believe you now. Alright, Splitter. Splitters are quitters, chat. Split that. Split that. Okay, hopefully they should now. Need to learn more VTuber names? Why? Why Floating Head? Floating Head, are you seeing other VTubers? Are you seeing other VTubers, Floating Head? Don't lie to me. I'll know. Are you seeing other VTubers? I try and remember names. It's tricky sometimes. I remember one time I was talking about bat-themed VTubers on stream, and I was like, yeah, there's this other one I follow. I can't remember what they're called, and their name was literally Bats. And I was like, oh, okay. Well then. Fuck. There we go, okay. Hopefully I can get that into... Son of a bitch. Put that a little bit further down. Sin and Liz are my dad? Not quite. Oh, okay, no wait, that was a response to someone. Oomst. Oh, okay. I think I'm dad, maybe? Question mark? I don't know. I only know Hololive and X-Hololive. Yeah, Kayfabe, plus a handful of indies. I know a bunch because, again, I like to keep... Like, I like VTubers, right? I love the creativity. I love seeing different people in the space. To be fair, my brain does reach saturation point, so there are some people who I know by sight, but not by... like name, if that makes sense. Like if you showed them to me, I'd be like, oh yeah, I know that design, but I would not be able to tell you like their name. I have dad energy. Don't tell me that. I mean, on the upside, at least I'm safe that knowing that I am no one's dad. I am no one's father. I want you to be Reinforced iron plate, I'm pretty sure. I want you to be reinforced iron plate. And I want... I want the power pole. I want cable to you. Cable to you. Cable to... you. Yeah, we up and running? I think we're up and running. Getting Onisan vibes. You say that, but I'm actually the younger brother. I have but one brother, and he's older than me. Virtual father figures. Oh, that's right. Your dad streams too, doesn't he? Might be dad, but Noodle's little bro. Yeah, I guess. I'm pretty sure I am actually older than. I am older than Noodle. Well, yeah, choice paralysis, and for me, Mike, it's not just choice paralysis. It's oh, that's right. Damn it! I have reinforced iron plates. What was I supposed to be building? Modular frames? Oh, that's right. Bolted modular frames. That was it. What do these need? These need copper and that. Okay, that's good. There we go. Yeah, so I mean, it's not necessarily choice paralysis. It is just saturation in time. So I was watching more streamers when I was during COVID because I was working from home. And then when I wasn't streaming, I was also watching more streamers because I had the time because I wasn't streaming. Which is, yeah, unfortunate. I enjoy love VTubers. I enjoy... Have I fucked this somehow? Have I somehow walked my own throughput? This is 100%. Very good. Yeah, we got is it choking at the combiner? I need to clip that. Good idea. How to make choices. Are you going to be a dad bod dad or a TRT, but actually straight a beacon? I know what half of that means, Mike. And the answer is probably none of them. Like, again, it's the same reason that I don't have pets. I struggle to take care of myself, let alone children. And I have so many things that I want to do still as myself, for myself, that, like, having kids is just a wild idea to me. I'm just like, I could not, the children. I could not manage children and also my own life. Or at least not manage children and a life in a way that I was satisfied with. Because I'm a little bit old school in that I'm one of those people who are, I'm like, if you have kids, like, you are putting a lot of your effort into raising those kids. I know a lot of people are like, oh no, you need to have balance and stuff, but I'm still very much one of those people who's like, if I have kids, the kids are first and foremost, right? There's no like one for me, one for them. No. It's like 4/5 for them, 1/5 for me. Because they are literal infants who cannot take care of themselves versus me. Like, you know. But that's just me. Being an unk, that's a weird one. I have had people call me uncle, and I am an uncle currently, which it is good enough for me. I don't like the shortening of uncle to unk. I hear people do that, and I've had people, I'm in a Discord where some of the younger people refer to old people as like unk or whatever, and I'm just like, ugh, don't like that. Don't like that at all. I'm glad you respect my priorities, Floating Head. Thank you for not getting me pregnant. What's up, Oos? See, I'm not related to The Rock, so you can't call me that. 88 cucks me. I can't watch streamers and do other stuff. If I go quiet a lot in chat, I'm doing something else. Either I'm 100% in chat or focusing on something else. Yeah, that's fair, Mike. I wouldn't say I have the same thing, but I get the struggle. In that I do struggle a little bit doing other stuff with stream because of the fact that again, like, for me, a stream is an interactive thing. I want to be a part of the stream. Like, that's the point of watching a stream for me. You know, it's one of the reasons why I also don't... It's not that I dislike, but I don't enjoy as much interacting with larger streamers, like someone like Iron Mouse, where there's 10,000 people in her chat, and it goes boom! And it's like, okay, cool, well... Like, you know, I'm not interacting with anyone. I'm not even interacting with other chat members. It's all just going so fast. Exactly, 100 children that I get to abandon. That's the turtle lifestyle. But yeah, I like to try and split up some of my activities across various things, because it's one of those things I've been trying to hack my brain a little bit to do more stuff. It's one of the reasons why, like, again, I started streaming, was so I could be like, cool, Ando, now you're playing video games and doing other things. You are doing two things that you enjoy at once, which makes you even more productive. Speaking of Oos, I'm fucking sick of Solo Sikoa and Jacob Patel. Solo was never scary. Now they're pushing him as funny. He's not. And they're pushing Jacob scary. He's not. They're both just chubby short dudes with no muscles. I mean, I feel like at this point, the family's got enough dirt behind the scenes that they can't afford to not push them. But yeah, I get the frustration, Mike. That was kind of my frustration back when they kept bringing back, like, legacy stuff from, like, the Attitude Era, because I've told you this before, I'm not an Attitude Era guy. Didn't grow up with it. So, like, when they kept being like, oh look, it's the Hardy Boys, it's the Dudley Boy, I'm like, I don't care, they're old and they're bad at tagging. Nisakoi, have I watched Nisakoi? I don't think I've watched Nisakoi. Anyway, enjoy your lunch, Don Snacks. But yeah, it was always just so apathetic when they were like, oh look, it's some wrestlers that you don't care about, Ando, that retired 30 years ago. Need to eat dinner, the sun is rising. That sounds ominous, Floating Head. The sun is rising, I must feed. A bunch of screws. I feel like I've broken my screw saturation. At least Remote has the physique of a star. The Usos were pushing it. Paul and Jacob like 555 and fat. No offense to anyone. Yeah. But by the same token, Mike, Samoa Joe. To be fair though, Samoa Joe at least seems to be competent. Like, and entertaining. Okay, time for another injection, methinks. Okay, breaking my production lines for a hot second. Splitter. Splitter. Logistics. Conveyor melt Mark 3. Fuck. Good old plant leaves. Where are we? Oh, put that there. Conveyor. Okay, put you over there. You know what time it is, everyone? It's my favorite time. Spaghetti belts. Belt Mark 3. Plug you into that. Plug you into that. Plug you into that. I think this should work. Question mark. The screws seem very saturated down that way, which is good, I think. Actually, this seems silly. Okay, where are we? Where are we? Mark 3s, Mark 3s, Mark 3s, and I can read chat once I've left my fugue state of creation. Mark 3s, Mark 3s. Boom. There we go. Also did Muay Thai citation needed. The daily drawing. I too have forgotten about that for many, many, many years. At least according to Baban Vampire, I don't know what that means, Cozy Cream Pie. I'm an old man. You need to explain these youthful terminologies to me. Yeah, that seems to be a goodly rate. Look at all these screws. Boom! Fucking screw railgun straight into this thing. Gonna be real. It'll be fun to play Gartic Phone with you sometime, Ando. Just see how silly it gets. Yeah, maybe I'll do that in the Discord sometime. I used to do Gartic with friends. It was a fun time. Things did get silly. Fair warning, I have a tendency to draw crabs. It became a running joke with amongst our friends of like, somehow all prompts would wind up becoming crab. Like, I'd just draw a crab into something, and then it would eventually turn into, like, everything is crab. This is at 86%. How is it not at 100% yet? Oh, maybe it's just not, it hasn't reached full buffering yet. He's got enough going on. Don't tell Lobster. I mean, if Lobster watches the VOD... I don't know, the only time that I find that I have a rough time with playing Gartic Phone is when people are really good at drawing. There'll be like a bunch of mediocre people and there's one person who's really good at drawing and I'm like, oh damn, now I just want to watch you draw. Like, I'll just give you prompts and you can just draw things and it'll be really good. And by that I mean, it'll be really good for me, because I'll be seeing you draw really good things. Man, I wish I could make things assemble faster, but unfortunately I cannot. I think we've reached peak chat. On the upside, it's a lot more efficient than my previous spaghetti belts were. Again, really I should build a bus and do a central bus, but I'm still not sure how to do it without smart splitters. The thing that annoys me about Satisfactory, they'll be like, here's how to set up your factory. First build this, and I'm like, I don't have that yet. I'm not high enough a level. Hey, Juggler Ape. How you doing? Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Less complaints. I mean, there was complaints about logistics earlier. You just weren't here for them. You missed out. I'm sorry. Oh, 69, nice. I think I had a bunch of thingamajigs I was going to build. A bunch of moteurs. Moteurs. If he does watch the VOD, hope you're okay. Yeah, no, I'm aware. I'm aware. I hope everyone's okay. That's the way I like to put it. I hope we can live in a place where everyone's okay, physically and emotionally. And if we're not, then I hope we're in a place where we're getting there. Alright, motors. Personal storage box. Can I build another personal storage box? Is that a thing I can build? I can build another one. No, I'm just gonna build one right there, just put some crap in. I just need it to put, like, that and other crap I don't need. Like, I don't need a power slug right now. Power slug. I don't need a crystal oscillator. I don't need 4 blue power slugs. Need that. Actually, no, I do need these. Give me those. Give me the modular frames. I don't need bit of remains. I don't need smart plating. Endo doesn't need smart. Dump that. Most everything else can stay. Actually, I don't need that. I don't need that. Most everything else can stay. Construction material only. Back to WWE. Dominic Mysterio is painfully attractive with the mustache. Yes. Correct. I like that he looks like the members of, Internet, you son of a bitch. Are we back? Are we back? Don't do this to me, Twitch. I know we're live. I know we're live. Yeah, let me... Fucking TPG internet. We back? We back? I mean, you're all back, but I need to fucking get Twitch working again. There we go. There we go. He looks like the members. Yes, he does. Alright, we're all here. We're all here and we're having a great time. So, where was I going with this? Ah, that's right. Yeah, so am I going to continue building like this? For the moment, yes. So, am I going to use foundations? Probably not, because I'm lazy and I see no purpose to it. Like, yeah, it lets me line things up a little bit, but even then, lining it up is not that essential to me. You know, close enough is good enough. I know people do that whole thing where they're like, oh, well, you build layers, like build walls and then build things on top of other things. Sure, I could do that, but again, I'm not really seeing the advantage to it right now. The biggest issue I have at the moment is, again, things like I don't have smart splitters yet. I'm working on unlocking them. That's why I've got all this Caterium wire that I'm building. As for everything else, yeah, basically it's a work in progress. I'm not going to ask you to do something, but after Tier 5, the game starts being easy to make anything and needs a shit ton of basic materials. Yeah, and I figured once I get to that point, I will probably reconfigure my base. But the thing is that at the moment, I can't really do a more advanced configuration, I don't think. I think there's some things I could probably do better, right? I don't disagree with that. Yeah, I don't disagree with that, but it's just stuff like, for instance, again, there's a lot of things I've looked at where I'm like, how can I, like, deploy this more efficiently? And I'll look at a guide, and they'll be like, first, get smart splitters. And I'm like, alright, well, I gotta get those. Like, you know, I've actually got to do some stuff. So, I do take the suggestion respectfully. And I get where you're coming from. It's also just one of those things of, I've just got to get some stuff. I've got to build some shit. Like, again, programmable splitters would be really helpful. I've just got to get them. Everyone has a point where they dismantle everything and build it with some level of efficiency. Exactly. And I've already kind of done that. In that, like, again, all this stuff down here, all my, like, iron production and stuff was used to be over there and was far less efficient than what I've got now. Like, from this point to this point, everything is running at 100% efficiency. Beyond, it tapers off a little bit. But we're still pretty high. The big thing for me, I've talked about this before, is that, again, because I work in industry in real life, my brain tends to think about how I would organize things in real life. So, in real life, we don't have a conveyor belt running deliberately into every single thing. What you'd do is you'd have a central, like, repository. Like, you'd have, like, a big storage bin that you just dump all your ore into. And then you'd have, basically, a mobile conveyor that would feed each thing independently as it's needed. It's crazy how Vince almost straight up literally said, Eddie Guerrero dying of steroids wasn't my fault. Yeah, I mean, let's just put it this way. wrestling as a storytelling device, I really enjoy. As an industry, I don't know. There's just it's like many industries. It's like Hollywood. It's like a lot of stuff where I'm just kind of like, the more I learn about it, the more I'm just like, man, why can't we have nice things? What is this one? This one's wood. I will give it my wood. And this one's leaf. I'll put the leaf in the container. It's common knowledge that the game had intro until level 4, and tier 5 to 7 is mid, and 8 to 10 at the hardest level, which you need 4 times the resources to make one thing. With pin previous level, you only need 1 times materials. Yeah, no, that's good. That's good to know, Juggler. I'll keep it in mind. Again, I'm sure once I get to that tier though, like again, for instance, when I started like tier 2, it was tricky because it was like, oh cool, I need like steel to make this, and so I was like struggling to make steel to then make things. Whereas now I actually have some semi-decent steel production. You know, I've got some things that, like, you know, as we advance, there are tools that will occur that will make things easier. But it's also true with everything, Mike. It's not just wrestling. There's so much stuff where I like the more I learn about it, I'm like, wow, isn't this good? And then there's other stuff where you go like, oh man, doesn't that suck? You know, like the stuff where it's like, you know, this guy was hired by this company to like write this thing, and he wrote their best-selling game of all time, and then they fired him and paid him peanuts because their contract stipulates that he doesn't get entitled to royalties or shit like that. And sometimes there's also just weird stuff. So a really interesting one is Games Workshop. Now, Games Workshop is a country. It is, yes, it's a country. It is a country now. It's an own independent state. No, it has a lot of its own history. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. But one people love to rip on them for is Michael Moorcock. So Michael Moorcock, surprisingly not a porn star name, is a fantasy author from the UK. Pretty sure he's from the UK. Who wrote a lot of stuff, and a lot of his stuff features things like, the Chaos Star, and stuff like that. Stuff that, like, is very present in Warhammer. And, a lot of people giving them shit for being like, oh yeah, they just ripped off Moorcock blatantly. And part of that was, at one point, they did have the license to produce miniatures based off of his works, right? And then they lost the license to that, and a lot of people go like, oh, well, they lost the license, but they just kept a lot of stuff. Part of that's true, but part of it's also the fact that, and this is what I didn't actually know until like a year or two ago, was that part of it was the fact that Moorcock had basically done a doubler. He had sold the rights to his stuff to GW, but he'd also done it to, I think it was Ralpatha in the US. And so it was basically like GW and Ralpatha like squared up and were like going to sue each other, and they were like, I have the rights. No, I have the rights. They'd be like, yeah, well, Moorcock gave me the rights. Well, Moorcock gave me the... Wait a minute. Did this guy sell us both the rights? Exactly. Devil is Moorcock. Selfish. So yeah, from what I heard, apparently he did, like, a sneaky on that one. So everyone's kind of like, oh, Games Workshop just plagiarized people. And they're like, no. No, this was one of those scenarios where no one was innocent here. Everyone was kind of stupid. Get out of here. Don't you overshadow me. Allowing the new era to use, though, because all the talent only talking about how shit it was to work under him. Yeah. Again, I do like people being candid about things, but at the same time, I also dislike... again, not dislike, it's always rough hearing, like, bad stories about stuff. You know, it's like the Cody Rhodes thing. Like, one of the reasons why I am a huge Cody Rhodes fan is when he was basically talking about how he was like, yeah, so I fucking hated wrestling as Stardust and, like, hated that gimmick and was just, like, in the locker room every time having to put that thing on and being like, fucking, why am I doing this? But that's also the reason why I like him, because I liked Stardust, and I'm like, if he was doing that good of a job in a gimmick he hated, you know, considering how phoned in I've seen some gimmicks be before. Exactly. More cock for everyone. Just learning about Warhammer lore for 3 weeks now. Oh, get ready. When Ando can be fucking bothered, I'm gonna do some Warhammer lore content. Because every VTuber fucking does now. Yeah, so I've talked about this before. What I'm planning on doing is basically some, like, here is an intro to lore for Warhammer, but explaining it from I guess you'd say, a fundamental perspective. Because a lot of people I see reacting to it, like, they'll be like, hey, let's watch this video from, you know, someone who does Warhammer lore. And they'll be like, blah, 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 the Warp, blah, 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 the Chaos Gods, blah, 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 like, you know, the Emperor of Mankind. And people be like, well, hang on a minute. What's the Warp? What's this? Is that bad? Is that good? So I think there's a lot of stuff that people just assume people will figure out. So I want to kind of go from a fundamental level of being like, okay, here is fundamentally how the universe works. Right? Like, here are the 3 layers of reality. Like, you know, there's reality, there's the warp, and then there's the other shit in between, like, the webway and the interdimensional pockets and all that sort of shit. You know, sorcery is the ability to manipulate the warp with your mind. It's bad. Demons will eat you. You know, magic is real. I don't even want to pick up iron rods. Yeah, no, I get what I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, Mike. But also, I kind of feel like, yeah, that's still her dad, but also, I feel like if I was at least semi-aware that my dad was a piece of shit, which I'm lucky because my dad's not a piece of shit, my dad is a lovely person. But it's one of those things where I feel like if I was, like, aware of it, I would have no issues with that. I'd be like, yeah, no, my dad is a piece of shit. Like, I'm not going to hold it against you for talking about how, you know, this is something that we all know. Like, if it was something, for lack of a better word, alleged, like, if it was a thing where it's like, oh yeah, fucking, what's his face, CM Punk was talking shit about how he runs the company or whatever, I could get that, but when this is an actual stuff that seems to be pretty well documented, hang on a second. When this is pretty well documented, and, you know, all that stuff, I'd be pretty content with being like, yeah, we know, he's a garbage person, talk about it. Also, hooray for wholesome dads. You know, I've been very lucky in a lot of regards in that I've had a multitude of generally pretty positive male role models in my life. Like, my dad is a kind of a weird guy in my opinion, in that he's an engineer, and I actually don't think he's a... This is gonna sound weird. I don't think my dad is a good engineer, in the sense that I don't think he is a naturally talented engineer. He's not someone who's good at engineering naturally. However, he has become competent. He has taught himself to be competent, and is very good with people and, like, managing people and stuff like that, which makes him very good at his job. In that he's very good at getting things solved. He's very good at, like, cool, I either know the solution to this, know how to get the solution to this, or if I don't know this solution and how to get it, I know someone who does, so I will, like, call someone up. And he's very good at the favor game. Like, he's very good at, like, he'll do a favor for someone who then will be like, cool, I'll be happy to do a favor for you. So when something breaks, he'll ring them up and be like, hey, so, like, this thing's broken, I know you've got some spares for it, can I, like, steal your spares? And they'll be like, sure thing, buddy, you know, have these spares, because I know that, like, when something breaks over here, you'll be good for it, and you'll give us your spares and all that sort of stuff. He's very good at, like, that sort of stuff. Well, I think it's a bit of both. I think he is talented in ways that are not naturally effective for engineering, but he has found a way of making them effective. Also, as a businesswoman, she's smart enough to know that it looks better to let talent talk bad about him and not punish them. And I also feel like Steph has probably been on the receiving end of, like, some nonsense in her life as a consequence of her dad, sort of thing. Right? Because I feel like what's his face, the brother or whatever, like he seems to have had multiple falling outs with the company and stuff like that for exactly those same sort of reasons of like, hey, like my body is wrecked. Please stop making me come out and do flips and shit. Hang on, I got something in my eye. I don't know. I was not around in that era, Mike. I've said this before, which is why I always find it very interesting. Like, I came in after Attitude Era, and I also came in after CM Punk had left the company, which is why I always find the Punk dick riding just very bemusing. And I always ask people, I'm like, what is actually good about this guy? Like, he seems to be an okay wrestler, but people talk about him like he is, like, God, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I've seen AJ Styles wrestle in person. Like, you know, I've encountered some people who seem to be, shall we say, more entertaining than this guy. Why are we all dick riding? Well, again, Mike, you know more about that than me, because again, I wasn't around for that era. Do I want to put a sink in here? I don't know. Again, this is what annoys me. I wish I could have stuff that's not belts. I wish I could have just a central repository. Yeah, I get that whole you 100% need to be there in the era to get Punk. I get it. I get it. And again, I am also well known for my lack of wrestling as a goofy thing. I like wrestling that is silly and fun, which is why the Attitude Era doesn't appeal to me. Like, again, the Attitude Era was back when it was like, oh, it's serious, like, you know, people are actually getting fucked up, like, you know, this is real, man, this is, you know, I just saw this man get broken through a table, you know, this is real shit, man. Whereas I'm just kind of like, no, it's not. I would like to see the man in the turkey costume wrestle again, please. Nearly single-handedly saved the late Attitude Era and early PG era. Sure. I mean, again, I wonder how much of that was him being good, because again, he probably was, versus also the company being garbage. Like, I've always maintained, if you only ever have one good wrestler on your roster, it's because of the fact that you're managing your company shit by not having multiple good wrestlers on your roster. Which WWE kind of ran into around about like 2014, 2015-ish, when they actually had some good wrestlers on their roster, and then they all got fucking injured because they kept botching. Like, they had fucking Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, like, they had a bunch of people who were actually quite good, who then all were like, I'm out on injury because I got botched in a match. Is him being good on the mic not being a good wrestler? I mean, that's the same thing. That's kind of the same thing, right? Like, it's having, I guess you could say, good talent. And even then again, like, I like goofy shit, both as match content and as, like, actual mic content. Like, that's why my favorite tag team for a long time was the Fashion Police, because you took what's his face, Calabrese, who was pretty good in NXT and developmental, and then you took Fandango, who had always been an absolute fucking jobber, and you put them together and they actually were fun. Like, I remember watching Fandango matches when he was, like, the pre-show, and I'd be like, oh, cool. It's time for a Fandango match that I can skip because it's going to be fucking boring. And then it'd be like, oh, cool. It's a pre-show match with the Fashion Police. Time to watch this shit. This is going to be fucking hilarious. Like, the fucking match where Tyler Breeze came out disguised as the fucking janitor. Peak content. Like, so fucking good. Can I make motors? Not enough space in inventory. Fuck you. I'm kind of glad they haven't done, what's it called? Like, shape-based inventory in this game. Like they do in Tarkov, where it's like, things take up a certain number of slots based on their shape, and you have to, like, find a hole to fit it in. I will also kind of say that WWE have been very lucky that Cena has stayed around as long as he has. Like, he was on a good gravy train, don't get me wrong. And I don't think he was ever going to leave for a competitor, but he very easily could have done a Rock and been like, cool, I'm going to actually go full-time into acting now, or whatever. It's better in the Indies than WWE. In the Indies, he was great. He was mid as a wrestler. On the mic, he's phenomenal. If he has an actual issue to fight against because he doesn't back down, goes off script, goes getting away with it, does the audience backing. He's not good with that actual real-world big bad. Fair. Again, like, that's unless it's just like an exceptionally absurd big bad. As I said, for me, wrestling is comedy. Wrestling is in the same category as rodeo clowns. It's not supposed to be serious. It's supposed to be silly. You know, give me serious athleticism with zero stakes, right? You know, I don't need this to be like the fate of mankind is in the hands of these oiled muscled wrestlers. It's like no. Act like it is, but stupid. You know, give me fucking Lucha Underground. Give me Lucha Underground where it's like the guy who's running the company is a fucking like wizard necromancer who has brought a literal like zombie into the ring and like powers him with the Death Stone, and like we need to stop him and take the Death Stone, otherwise the prophecy will be complete and the fucking sky is gonna fall down. Like, that's the sort of shit I'm here for. That's why I really like Lucha Underground. Give me more shit like that. Again, I know it'll never sell. I know will never sell to a big audience because of the fact that like I'm a niche audience, and the real audience for WWE is rednecks who think it's real. You know, rednecks who want to see big strong men doing big strong things. But yeah, I don't know. Give me more nonsense, damn it. Give me more fucking like a guy who comes into the ring dressed as a wizard. This kind of stuff with Cena isn't working for me because they're IRL friends. They're both good actors, but I know they're IRL friends. I buy Punk as a permanent underdog, but he's just a schlub with a big mouth. Yeah. Again, I don't know. I've told you my idea of what I would like to see in wrestling. Previously, if they gave me a thing where like Ando write a character, I've explained this previously, he would essentially be like Mephistopheles. He would be the devil, and his whole thing would be he's not quite a heel, he's not quite a face, he's not actually a wrestler, he's a stable manager, and his whole thing is basically I intervene in shit that I find interesting, right?
Milestone reached.
Like, this guy's being a heel and he's interfering in matches. I don't like that because I feel like there's too much hubris here, so I'm gonna humble him by helping the face, even though I'm nominally a bad guy. Excellent, we have oil now.
Pipelines can now be optimized with valves to limit and balance their throughput.
Oh, that's cool.
These were initially left out because Fixit did, but they have since been
Cool, don't care. More Bray Wyatts, kind of. Bray Wyatts was kind of a random force to a certain extent, but very similar to Bray Wyatt. And also rip Bray Wyatt. That was an absolute fucking loss. They killed Bo Dallas's push, which fucking sucks. Bray Wyatt's IRL brother, yeah. I don't know, I kind of liked it when they rebranded from the Wyatt family to the whole like Bray Wyatt as the like kind of Mr. Rogers character with the demon in him. Like, I thought that was generally very good. It reminded, that was how they should have done Finn Balor, in my opinion. Because Finn Balor, they always had the whole demon underline, but they never used it enough, and they should have done it as like a Finn Balor is nominally a heel, but push him around enough and his heel, like, sorry, he's nominally a face, but push him around enough and his heel side comes out and that's the devil. Didn't like the Fiend mask, but the concept was cool. Yeah, but I feel like part of that was like you had to have something to differentiate. Because again, sometimes you need that in wrestling to like just to differentiate the gimmick. It's the same with when they did Undertaker as the American Badass very briefly, and he started wearing like the American flag bandana and stuff. was because it was kind of like, we need to make him somehow distinct so that people don't just recognize him as, oh, hey, it's Taker. Yeah, not surprised. I remember Finn Balor got shafted back ages ago when I was watching because of the fact that he broke his fucking neck and was like, I don't know if it was like, I'll never work again, but it was like I am out for the next foreseeable couple of years. Speaking of fucking Big E, man, I feel bad for Big E. I like that he's still doing stuff, like they've still kind of made room for him to do stuff, but what happened to Big E is still a fucking tragedy. And, well, I know it was a shoot. Again, like you were saying earlier, a shoot with real emotion behind it kind of works. The one with him and the rest of the New Day, like a couple of months back, that was some raw shit. I watched the YouTube clip of that and I was like, fuck. Like you can tell he probably didn't 100% feel that now. I feel like that was probably at least a thought that went through his head at some point. When he was like, "You all left me behind." Alright, here's the plan. Can I build another one of these? How am I going to do this? Two assemblers? Two of them. Two of them. This is getting out of hand. Now there's two of them. He's killing a lot of the larger-than-life characters in favor of more legitimate fighters. Is that a good thing, though? Like, again, you heard my previous commentary on this, Mike, of I like bullshit nonsense. So for me, I kind of look at it and I kind of go, is having more realistic fighters a good thing? You know, I like people who can perform. I don't need them to be like, oh yeah, I actually know karate or whatever. It's like, I miss when they had a lot of high flyers on the roster. I get that Rey Mysterio retired for a reason, aka killing a man. But like, again, watching Rey Mysterio was always a treat, just because of the fact that, like, he always put on a good show, doing cool flips and shit. Saying it's a bad thing, like, there's a fine balance with both communities. Yeah, I think part of that also might have to do with the fact that the company is now owned by, what are they fucking called? The company that owns, like, UFC and all that sort of shit. I wouldn't be surprised if some of that is, I wouldn't necessarily kowtowing, but, like, trying to appeal to that audience and also the executive of that company who might be like, it's kind of like, what's his face, Randy Orton, right? A lot of people always kind of criticize Randy Orton. Like, and Orton has some good things, he has some bad things, but a lot of people always criticize Randy Orton as the era of Vince, of like, Vince likes dudes who look big and tough and who have tattoos. So it doesn't matter if you're actually good or not. Like, he'll hire you on the grounds of, you look like a tough guy because you got tattoo. He's got a tattoo of a skull. He must be tough. You dig? You get what I'm saying? You're picking up what I'm putting down. Where are we? Conveyor. Endo stuck. Yeah, Brock Lesnar bridged the gap irreversibly for the bad. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think Lesnar got overused for the exact same reason, and that was a criticism again that I know people had of Lesnar as, like, it's again, it's the Randy Orton problem. It's the he's huge and has tattoos, therefore he must be good. Now Lesnar, to be fair, muscularity wise, did have a lot going for him in the sense that he could, like, basically just pick people up and yeet them. But again, I think establishing that criterion of being a good MMA fighter makes you a good wrestler. Meh. Did Ronda Rousey ever get decent? How do I get back to my toolbar? Can't remember. No, lol. Yeah, okay, not surprised. Because I remember when they introduced her and, like, she wasn't doing great. And then I never really kept up with it after that. I don't know what happened to my toolbar, and I don't know how to get it back. Because I've heard very good things about the women's division at the moment. But to be fair, a lot of that is also everyone just frothing over Rhea Ripley, which is understandable because it's Rhea Ripley. But you know, one skilled person in the women's division does not a good women's division make. They learned that the hard way when they kept fucking pushing Charlotte, who wasn't even that good anyway. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, let me put it this way. I wouldn't want to fight Ronda Rousey, because again, I am but a small turtle and she would break me in half. But at the same time, I feel like, yeah, again, with WWE or something like that, you just, like, you know, you won a bunch of championships in actual fighting. Just have fun with it. Why crash out? I don't get it. Welcome in, Vasily. Yeah, again, I try not to criticize people too much because of the fact that, like, your boy is so physically inept at the moment. Like, I am woefully unfit. That if you were like, hey, Ando, go in the ring and just do some basic shit, I would not be able to do it. So I can't exactly just be like, oh, this person's terrible. But at the same time, I also have to acknowledge they're terrible. I can't not acknowledge, you know, when someone botches. Again, that was kind of my problem with Nia Jax, where I feel like Nia Jax could have had potential. I felt like they squandered her a bit. But my other big gripe was the fact that, again, she did constantly seem to botch. Often resulting in people actually getting legitimately injured. I'm kind of like, hey, that's not great. Maybe we should cut down on that a little bit. Industrial beam. All right. Here's the plan, chat. He's really careful now. Okay, that's good. Because again, I feel like Nia Jax got shafted in the sense that there was a lot of stuff they could have done with her that they didn't do to maximize her character. And in fact, they never really gave her a character. It was kind of just, she's related to The Rock. No, or she's big. Oh, and by the way, she's related to The Rock. Which, you know, of course, is the selling point of basically every wrestler who's related to The Rock. Because, hey, who needs creativity? Yeah, is this a merger or a splitter? Oh, it's a merger. Okay. Well, that was silly of me. Where are we? Production. Assembler. She's leaning into the comedy, which is actually good at it. No, R-Truth. Oof. Sag. Because, yeah, I can't really keep up, because they had a really good crop for a while, particularly in the women's division. It it was really weird because I remember they did the whole women's revolution thing, which was really bad because they were like, here's a bunch of our new roster, and it was like not great. And then a little while after, they actually picked up some good talent. I was like, okay, things are actually like not garbage now. Things are improving. Situation looking up. A splitter. And where are we going? Maybe it was too long. Yeah, let's see if we can bridge this gap. The spaghetti returns. Yum. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I think I was never really that committed to, as I said, the story of wrestling. I think part of me, the other thing that I really liked about wrestling was just I was hanging out with my buds. Like I was hanging out with my friends. I was hanging out with my brother. I think that was part of what made it good. That and the fact that like we would like fan cast, like this is how we would do X, Y, and Z. And I think our fan castings were better than a lot of the official writing. Turn Ron killing the CM Punk's attack dog. Instead of R-Truth getting through to Cena, it's Punk getting through to Cena by sicking Ron on him. I guess. I mean, like, again, at least R-Truth is competent. Like, at least he can actually wrestle, which is nice. Because it always sucks when they're like, cool, this person is now this person's lackey, and they're just really bad at actually doing anything. Kimber. Yeah, he is, but he should have been the moral fiber of the story. I agree. I don't know. I like me some R-Truth. I still think one of the funniest things he's ever done was when he was teamed up with Goldust and they formed the Golden Truth, which A, was funny, but B, it was also when Goldust turned heel and broke up their partnership. And he was just on Twitter being all like, how am I supposed to explain this to my kids, man? They keep asking me, they keep being like, Daddy, where's Uncle Goldie? What happened to Uncle Goldie? He's like, how am I supposed to explain this to my kids? Like, just utter commitment to the bit, but just very amusingly so. Like, he wasn't even mad that he'd been betrayed. He was just upset that he'd lost his friend. You know, I appreciate that. I like a really babyface. You might be a big man, but you'll never go flying over the... No, you will go flying over that top rope, Paul Heyman. I've told you this before. So this was my fan cast for like 2014-ish, right? This was the thing that like me and my friends came up with. So this was when like it was the whole John Cena versus the Authority thing. When you know, they were doing the whole retirement match where it was like the Royal Rumble, and it was like whoever wins, it's like your team versus my team, and if your team wins, then the Authority disbands, and if we win, then John Cena has to retire, which we knew was never going to happen because that was it was 10 years ago, at no point was Cena going to retire then. Yeah, the way I would have done that is I would have had them win, I would have had the Authority step down, and then I would have made Paul Heyman the general manager. I would have had him be like, because Triple H always seemed very like apologetic during that arc. Like anytime he was dealing with Cena, he was kind of like, look, man, I'm just doing my job. I think that would have been a great conclusion to it of like, yeah, man, I'm just doing my job. You know, sure, I suck, but there is a worse outcome, and the worst outcome is Paul Heyman's now the general manager, and he's gonna fuck with all you and like ruin your lives. Where are we? His organization. Also, thing I did appreciate recently, and again, because everyone's foaming over Rhea Ripley, which is fine. Again, like, she's definitely foam worthy. But one thing I did appreciate was her getting herself in the Money in the Bank. Because she basically, as far as I'm aware, she basically invaded the stage and like beat everyone up and then signed the contract. And then people were like, "You can't do that." She's like, "Bitch, my name's on the contract. I'm in Money in the Bank." Are they nearly 50 or older than 50? They're not about to retire. Yes, they're still jacked. Yes, they're on steroids, about to retire. Yeah. I know, I think it depends though, because again, like there's retirement and there's retirement. Kind of like the stuff that Mark Henry's done where he hasn't really like retired in the full sense. Like he doesn't wrestle, but he's kind of like, I'm still around, I still like do commentary and other stuff like that. But hell, like again, I would retire from wrestling, and hell, I'm not even a wrestler. Like it does seem to do a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. I think they have gotten a bit better with it though. In the sense that I've heard that like back in the day, a lot of the time it was just like, cool, like I may be getting brain damage from this, but the guys in the locker room have said just take the bump, so I'll take the bump. Whereas now they seem to at least be saying like, okay, let's not give our performers traumatic brain injuries. And that's the other thing as well, is again, like, the absolutely jacked aesthetic, which I think that's another thing. I think we could probably blame that on Vince, because he was a bodybuilder. I think the whole, like, hugely jacked aesthetic is something that I don't think is that necessary in wrestling. And I've been talking about wrestling for a while now. No, we've gotten on this tangent for about an hour now. Sorry, anyone who's not interested. But I feel like that's something where I'm kind of like, they could probably move away from that. Like, muscular is fine. But like, yeah, the whole everyone being like absolutely fucking huge, probably not that necessary anymore. Because again, I've always been a fan of like the skinny guys. I've always been a fan of like the high flyers and stuff. The dudes who get on the top rope and do like cool flips and shit. Alright, more biofuel that I'll probably never use because my biofuel consumption rate's still not high enough. Also, I have a whole bunch of quick wire. I have so much quick wire. That's a lot of quick wire. Probably take a bunch of that and build some AI limiters. Build some AI limiters. We'll also like look at getting some oil, maybe. Another way where wrestlers first started at like 23, 25, went to 35. 10 years of juice is detrimental, but you can avoid enlarged organs. Yeah, again, I think it depends. Like, I would happily wrestle. Well, again, physically, I am not equipped for it. That being said, I would happily wrestle now in like a house show or whatever if I had the ability to be like, hey, this is my shtick, this is what I'm doing. Like, you know, maybe I don't need to be that physical with it. Because again, as I said, it's about putting on a good show, and again, a good show doesn't necessarily need to be spectacular. Like you can put on a competent show that still has some good spots, without necessarily having to be like, cool, I'm absolutely destroying myself. Because that was what I always liked about what's his face. I remember his name eventually. Was a member of the Shield. Was not Seth Rollins and was not Roman Reigns. Because while he does a whole bunch of ridiculous shit, he also did a lot of stuff that was just very, like, that's a very competent move with not, like, it's well executed, but it's not particularly complicated. Like, it's very simple, just looks like he's brawling someone. Like, he did a lot of stuff that looked quite good without being, like, excessively dramatic, if that makes sense. Yes, Dean Ambrose, that's it. Jon Moxley. Yes, I would prefer not the brain injury because I need that brain. Fuel power generator, industrial fluid buffer, fluid packaging, jetpack. Never let Raul play this game. Let's go logistics. Here's a question. Where's my oil? There's literally no fucking oil. Alright. Actually, I was saying this the other day. I thought it would be funny. I thought it would be funny if we ever got a crossover between Raul and Jets. Oh, there it is in the fucking distance. Who's an Australian VTuber, because her fan base are called the Jetpack. And I thought that would have been funny, because inevitably you would have the Chatinis being like, Jetpack, Jetpack, Jetpack. But that's just me. Oil? No, it's mine, Vasily. The oil is all mine. Alright, I'm gonna fire up my truck. Go see if we can find some oil. Just to investigate it. I have no use for it at the moment. It's built like and dresses like Bane. I was built by the darkness, molded by it. I didn't see the light until I was a man. Okay. 600, 2300, 2400. Cool. Yeah, again, I like Jets. I'm envious of Jets in that she's currently participating in a Lancer campaign, and I'm like, damn it, I want to be in a Lancer campaign because I fucking love that game, but I never get to play it. Lancer is a game that I fucking love theory crafting for, but very, very rarely get to play it. I tried DMing it and was not really in a headspace to DM it. Not a bad headspace, but it was just like, it was just too much mental load. That makes sense. That and the fact that I, like, meticulously planned a lot of stuff. Not meticulously planned, but I put a lot of planning into a lot of stuff to try and make it engaging for my first-time players to play it. And then they proceeded to, like, kill the big bad very early. Well, not the big bad, but there was a character who was supposed to be a recurring character, and I just put him in as, like, a training thing. And they just absolutely fucking annihilated him. And I was like, oh, I did not realize he would be this easy to kill. That is a cliff. That is very much a cliff. There's a route down the cliff. Oh. No, as I've kind of said, Mike, I don't mind a large audience. Because depending on the level of interaction. Like, Nio's audience is a decent size, but she still interacts very well with chat. Again, I think it depends. Although she's a nerd for old tech, which makes me wish I could ask more questions in a chat. The chat go burr. Of course, I don't want to have less success. I'm just glad for her. Yeah, that's a fun one. And again, as I said, I kind of like it when people find ways to... I can run this man over. I like it when people find ways to like interact with their community in ways that are outside of Twitch for that very reason of... Like, again, Sin's movie nights are a lot of fun. I like those. You big fucking spider. I'm Australian, you can't kill me. Oh yeah, fun story. So, actually, two things. I saw a video by a VTuber reacting to videos about Australia, and I'm thinking I might get in on the Reactando meta and react to them reacting. Just because they're British. They're a British VTuber reacting to Australia and being like, "Oh, Australia, how wacky and wild Australia." Fucking get this before the wasps get me. Get this before the wasps get me. Oh, I'm very dead. Okay. I did not think they would kill me that quickly. Cool.
Next time you are doing that, don't.
Next time you're doing that, don't. I get it. Alright, time to recover my death box. I always forget there's a little hab in here that I respawn in. Productive Packer Deluxe. Where was I going with this? Yeah, I kind of want to react to it because it's them being like, oh, Australia, like, never change, being full of horrific things. But I want to actually them, because one of the first things they react to is the funnel web spider. And they're actually reacting to the fact that there was a new species described for the funnel web spider. So... Australia is a phenomenally unimaginative country. We are shit at giving things decent names. So, the genus Atrox is the funnel web spider. Atrox robustus is the Sydney funnel web spider. They recently described a new species, which is Atrox christiensis, I believe, off the top of my head. It's found from Newcastle. It's the Newcastle funnel web spider. Or by its other name... the Newcastle Big Boy. And do you know why it's called the Newcastle Big Boy? Because it's found in Newcastle and it's fucking big. That's why. How many layers can we get to? I don't know. But yeah, the Newcastle Big Boy isn't actually that scary, but they are in fact a big boy. They're like a 3-inch large spider. They're a decent size. Not bad, good size. Odie McBoatface. Well, it's a bit like that. Australia kind of does that. It's like Townsville, right? Townsville in Queensland. Town meaning town. Ville also meaning town. We named this place Town. But yeah, I know. I kind of want to do that, but at the same time, I also hate a lot of React content. I don't dislike people for doing it. It's just the fact that a lot of React content I've kind of find, oh god, I'm gonna die. Fucking, I didn't know that gas was that lethal. Why is it still making the walking sound? Also, look at that cake. Look how caked up I am. Yes, Townsville does all happen to be where the Powerpuff Girls are from, but that's for coincidental reasons. Liz reacts to Noodle reacting to Sin, reacting to Anna, reacting to X. I guess. Again, I don't like a lot of React content, like, on YouTube and stuff, because a lot of it I find just very, like, damn, nature, you scary. Like, I have nothing really to offer on this insight. I'm just looking at this thing and being like, damn, is that real? Chat, is this real? The reason why I want to do React stuff for this is because of the fact that I actually know shit about this, and I can actually be like, so here's the thing about this, here's the interesting thing, blah, 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 blah. That's the React content I like. That's why I really like the stuff they do on EXP with, like, Jonathan Ferguson and Toby Capwell and stuff like that, where they show them stuff from video games, and they'll be like, well, actually, here's the historical reason behind that. Not even necessarily when the audience is fast, it's sometimes just that it's hard to stand out with identity when someone has a revolving door of chat members. I think a chat like Enya's size could still stand out for one, have a funny name and an alarming personality. Good way to put it, Mike. an audience like Tomo or Suka, it's hard for me to stand out. Yeah, and part of it's also just, like, presence. So, like, for instance, like, I've been around certain other communities for a while, so I'm kind of known. You know, I might not be as known as I am in, say, Sin's community. Like, people know me in Sin's community. Do you know who I am? No, but, like, people know me in Sin's community, right? Like, they're like, oh, hey, that's Ando. He also streams, because, like, we do collabs and stuff, right? But, like, at least in other communities, people know my name and recognize me and stuff like that. You know, so, like, for instance, again, Nayo streams, she'll generally recognize me a bit. I believe some of the other ones, I'm at least kind of passingly familiar, like I am, well, maybe not as well known as certain other people. At least a name that people go, oh, hey, it's that guy. Again, depends on who the streamer is. And part of it's also just, again, like we were saying earlier, the amount of time you can dedicate to a thing because of the fact that, again, modern life has modern life demands. You know, I can't dedicate all my time to hanging out in people's streams. Astrid knows me. I mean, that's true. That's true, but that's also Astrid knows me as opposed to Astrid's chat knowing me. There is a bit of a difference there. I feel like that is a point worth, like, making a delineation on. There's a difference between known by the streamer and known by the chat. Where are we going? There's a ramp down here somewhere. I think that's over here. Excellent. Recover all my shit. Does your cult know my cult? Kind of, but even then, it's a case of, like, you know, there are people in these other streams that don't know that I stream, but they know that I am a chatter. The one that's wild is I actually have been followed by some people who are significantly larger, and that always chuffs me a little bit. I'm pretty sure Pom followed me on Twitter, and Siri also followed me on Twitter, which I thought was wild. I was like, huh? The Sphinx knows who I am? I don't think she knows that much, but... Oh, come on, take all. Fucking get out of here. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Ow, fucking stop that. Okay. Oh, I wanted to slap them. Oh god, wasps. Fucking mainlining berries. I didn't want to do that either. Stop that. That's what I wanted to do. And raid Spoofy. Elaborate further, Mike. Spent with names over the years, but this is the first time I've had people gagging it. My name, yeah, I guess. The one people struggle with mine is sometimes they just don't know how to pronounce it. That's not the definition of mainlining. I mean, I know Mike, but at the same time, I can't inject the berries in the game, so it's the same in the sense that I'm just trying to, like, get them into my body as fast as possible. Okay, fucking... Ow. Die, you dogs. Get baseball batted. Alright, give me the slug. Slug. Look at me. I am king here. What were we after? Oh, yes, the oil. We were on our American arc. King Turt? Probably not. I don't know if I'm a monarchy. Okay, it's over that ways. Where did I park my truck? Over here, I think. I like rating people for a goof. I think it'll be annoying. It was live before you could have done it, made Steam. Okay, I see. You know, that's fun. So I had someone who used to stream. I don't know if they still. I think they used to. Who I was in a Discord with during COVID. So friend of mine set up like a friend Discord during COVID to be like, hey, This is a space for people to kind of like have some human interaction and stuff. And this was before I started streaming, but I was still around there after I started streaming, and she was streaming. And I think I might have raided her like once, but I don't know if she still does. Did a lot of art and like whatchamacallit, Stardew Valley and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't mind raiding people as a goof. Like, again, if Sin or Liz have got something on as like a, like an event or whatever, I will do like the whole waiting room thing. The big problem I do have with, not big problem, the thing I worry about with doing like one-man raids on my own is there was a period where people were kind of doing that as like a, oh, I raided you, you should follow me sort of thing. Raw quartz. Oh, actually, I could put a Mark 1 miner here and start getting quartz. That's potentially handy. But I need power for that. Humbug. Someday I will learn how to raid. It's very quite simple. It's really quite simple. Do you even need to actually have a stream live to go and raid someone? I don't think so. I think you can do an offline raid. I'm pretty sure, did I raid, I raided Sin for the memes once. I'm pretty 90% sure I raided Sin for the memes once. We were joking about it during a stream or whatever, and I went live for like 30 seconds so I could raid Sin with like one person. What is it? This headlight is shit. This headlight is arse. We're gonna be shit here that wants to cut me, but that's okay. I can fight you, big spider. Fucking dog. Perish. Fucking die. Oh, that's a bat or something. Now if I mainline these berries, they will not perish. There's my lightsaber, and there's a purple slug. I've been needing a purple slug. You belong to me. Yeah, my advice is don't feel bad raiding people if you've only got the one person, because everyone's got to start somewhere. Like, that was the thing when I kind of started out. It was always kind of like, oh, feels a bit bad being like the small person raiding in. And I do try and scale my raids appropriately, with certain exceptions. Like Vivi is much larger than me, and I will from time to time raid Vivi, just because Vivi is nice and she generally appreciates it, sort of thing. But like, you know, I'm never gonna raid Iron Mouse, so to speak. Can this run on coal? This, alright, well, I'll put this in here anyway. It can run on this, but can this thing run on coal? Yeah, well, again, it's great when you raid people and find people. Like, that's how I found Astrid. That's how I found Noodle. It's kind of how I found Sin. Like, Sin was watching me on Twitch, and then like messaged me after stream one time being like, thank you for stream, I had good time. And I was like, gee, thanks buddy. Jesus, I was like, Mike, what's gonna be coming on here? Where was I going with this? Yeah, and then like Sin raided me one time, and then I raided her back. Reciprocal raiding's always a fun thing. Yeah, Sin 100% messaged me from under the bed. Yeah, it can run on coal. Alright, it's out of call. Yeah, no, I can't express my gratitude properly. At this stage, I'm not vocal. Therapy's bitching. I'm barely confident enough to hit the start button. I communicate via chat because I don't know how to do TTS. Yeah, that's fair. And again, everyone's got to grow somewhere. We didn't really get to watch it when I was on behind the streams with Sin, but my early streams are not particularly good. Like, I'm pretty quiet, a lot of it. Some of it is just developing the skill set, developing the confidence. Finding things to talk about. Streaming into the void is a difficult thing. You know, streaming to an audience of nobody is hard, because, I'm not gonna lie, you being all here makes it easier for me, because of the fact that you say things, and then I can react to those things. Whereas, when you just gotta fill empty space with, like, your own bullshit, particularly if you haven't got much going on, it's kind of like, hey, alright, chat, what's up, how you doing? Didn't really do anything today. I went to work, came home, now I'm streaming. So, play some Satisfactory. What are you? What are you? What are those? Like a big... You got little sniffly handly boys. Are you angered? Are you angered? Oh. You sneeze? You angered? Perish. Oh, he's fast. He's a fast boy. Oh, Jesus Christ, he's fast. Okay, well, I'm gonna get some leaves to power my truck. Beth, you. Brain runs out of script after 30 minutes? Exactly. And I mean, I think that's also the other thing as well, like this is one of the best things I've ever learned about streaming. From Iron Mouse, coincidentally, was she kind of said the same thing. She was like, yeah, I steal jokes from chat all the time. Like, that's what you're there for. If someone says something funny, I'll happily steal it because of the fact that, like, it's funny, more people should hear it. And also, like, it keeps the inertia of the stream going. She didn't say inertia, that's my word, but it was kind of like a, you know, it lets everything continue. And also, that's why people are here. Like, the interaction is part of the appeal. Because, I mean, like, it's weird. So, streaming is actually, in my opinion, kind of similar to things people used to do back in the day. Was like, you know, again, back in the ye olde days, people would actually do seminars, right? They're not as common nowadays, but, like, back in the day, it would usually be, like, you know, this respected scientist or whatever is holding a seminar, come and listen to him talk, and it would be a relatively small gathering, of, like, you know, 30 people, maybe 40 people, depends, in a room, and they would be like, oh yes, this is my recent expedition to the Andes, where I discovered the following things, and blah, 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 and they would kind of just sit around and talk. And, you know, in places like Oxford, you would literally have people, like, just holding them in pubs. Like, they'd be like, cool, I'm a professor, I'm gonna hold a seminar, but I don't want to hold a seminar in the lecture halls because I have to pay for those. So everyone come down to this particular pub and we're gonna chill out and drink some beers and just talk about philosophy or whatever. And I feel like Twitch kind of... Well, not Twitch specifically, but, like, streaming in general kind of fills that space a bit. It's a semi-interactive space. Barely have vocal cords at work. Yep. Every time I talk, it feels like my voice isn't mine. Yeah. And to be fair, like, again, that's another thing I think comes with experience as well, because, like, knowing some people have had similar things of having, vocal issues. I know someone who, when they were younger, had to get they basically wound up with a benign tumor in their voice box. They had to get removed, so, they didn't have to get their whole voice box removed, but they had to get part of it removed, and it changed their... Well, it depends. So having the tumor change their voice, and then having the tumor removed changed their voice again. So they were like, I went through this whole arc of, like, my voice is wrong, which was rough for them because they were a singer as well. They were like, my voice was wrong, and then they fixed it, and my voice was still wrong, but in a different way. ADHD and no impulse control. I mean, I feel like that's a lot of people nowadays, Mike, even without the ADHD. I feel like that's just living under the constant pall of dread as a millennial. Red rating bigger streamers all the time. A lot of them have non-affiliate rates turned off. Interesting, I didn't know that. But again, that's also because I'm an affiliate. I have a certain level of impulse control. That's why I have Samakasaba's email address. I mean, look, Mike, I don't necessarily want Samakasaba's email address. I'm just happy that I hope that she's happy. That makes sense. You know, I just want people to be in a place where they're like, you know what, I'm content. I'll be happy when I'm her mod. Be happy when I prevented you from becoming her mod, Mike. Huh? Will you take the Leafer as fuel? You will take the Leafer as fuel. Okay, good. Gas, gas, gas. I'm gonna step on the gas. Be a winner, yeah, 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 and get stuck on a tree. I mean, that is something I am working on a bit this year. It's one of my goals, is I wanna, like, get into contact with more VTubers. I wanna, like, branch out a little bit. Because while having my circle of friends has been great, it is one of those things of, Ando's trying to be brave. Ando's trying to be, like, putting himself out there a little bit more and being like, hi, I'm Ando, you kind of know who I am. Would you like to do a thing with me? Ooh-woo? Ooh-woo? Because it is a skill I need to work on in real life. I am not always great at being like, hello, person who I've interacted with multiple times with good, like, outcomes, who seems to have similar interests. Would you like to be my friend? Collab with the turtle. That's semi-true, Mike. Also, part of it's because I'm lazy. It's like I've been meaning to do a thing and then I haven't quite done the thing. Like, as I've said this before, I've been meaning to do a collab with Maddie. I've just been too lazy to get the thing done. To the point that Maddie even messaged me being like, hey, didn't you say you want to do a collab with me? And I'm like, yeah, I did, and I still want to do it. I just keep forgetting to actually do the thing. And Maddie was like, okay, cool, based. Like, you know, let me know when you're keen to actually do it. I'm like, sure thing. I just need to actually sit down and actually do the thing that I want to actually do with her. But I've got a couple of other people I want to, like, tap on the shoulder and be like, hi, do you wanna hang out sometime? But it is hard. It's also one of those other things where, like, again, because I talked about this with Sin, where Sin was like, she doesn't like big collabs, and I get that. I get that when it's like a billion people. But also she likes doing, like, if she's doing a collab with someone for the first time, she likes doing like a one-on-one because it's a smaller environment, whereas I'm the opposite. I'm like, people will be more comfortable if I give them a group, because a group means there's multiple people to interact with. It's less like, you're trapped in here with me. So it's kind of awkward, because I think some people are like, oh, I'd love to do a collab, but I don't really want to do a group collab, whereas I'm kind of like, oh, I was making it a group collab because I thought that would make you more comfortable. In my Egyo, what's Egyo? I don't understand. I don't understand. Trap someone with Ando? Yeah, trust me, it's not a great time. I snore and I talk in my sleep. Actually, I don't know how frequently I talk in my sleep. I do sometimes, but I don't know if it's a common thing or if it's like an occasional thing. Yeah, no, again, I get that vastly. And the other thing that's hard as well is finding something to collab with, because, like, you know, I don't want to be like, hey, do you want to come and play this game with me? Buy this game. Like, if it's something small, like, if it's something where it's like, hey, buy this game, it costs $1 on Steam, that's not really a problem. Oh, it's Korean for cutesy talk. I see. You have explained it to me. I know very little about Korean culture. I know some stuff, but like I didn't go through a K-pop phase. Ando is of the age bracket that I missed out on K-pop. So people do a lot of, like, people make Korean references and I'm like, I don't understand that. I don't know who this Blackpink you speak of are. I don't know what this is. See, I don't, because again, most of my friends are of my generation, and even then, I'm also the most weebish of a lot of my friends. Look at them, fucking screws just going pew, down the line. To the point that often my friends are like, Ando, you're a weeb. Explain this weebery to me. Explain this weeaboo sorcery to me. At a short rate, I never really did the J-pop. I kind of did like the anime theme songs, which is kind of close enough to J-pop. And then I was pretty solidly on like Japanese metal. Japanese metal can be quite good. I like the Japanese. I like Japanese pop music because of the fact that they at least still know what a guitar is. Like, there can be some solid like pop songs that are like, hey, you know, this is very much an idol singing or whatever, but they at least have some guitars in the background. Like, it's not entirely just synths. Which annoys me about modern pop music, because a lot of it is, like, very obviously we're making this on the cheapest budget we can. I do quite enjoy the J-rock and the J-pop. I don't know, I like city pop. Also, here's a fucking wild story. So, Benito Mussolini, right? The dictator of Italy. What a wild way to start this one, Ando. So, Benito Mussolini, his granddaughter is a Italian politician. She's a member of the Italian parliament. But before she was that... okay. Well, I'll tell this story anyway, and then I'll tell it again when you get back. Before she was a member of the Italian parliament, she had a career in Japan as a city pop singer. And you can find her music on YouTube, and it's actually kind of good. I don't really like her as a person, but her city pop phase, actually not terrible. Yeah, there is some wild shit in the world, Floating Head. And I'm kind of, I probably have some wild stories, but I'm kind of sad I don't have some, like, stories that are that wild. You know, Ando doesn't really have any stories of, like, oh yeah, I spent, like, the middle of my 20s in, you know, like for instance, a friend of mine, right? A friend of mine is a legitimate pop star in Thailand. Her husband is Burmese, so she lived in Myanmar for a couple of years, was married to him, is in music, did music stuff, and really popular in Thailand, and was like an actual charting, like, pop artist in Thailand. But mostly NSFW. Hey, I mean, that's more NSFW stories than I've got. And I remember when I got told this, I was like, what? I was like, she's a fucking pop star in Thailand. They're like, yeah, like, her music's really successful there. And I was like, all right, like, I didn't know this, but fair enough. Cool, like, good for her. Is this a splitter? This is a merger, isn't it? Okay. Wonder, chat. I wonder. Give us their gram. I actually don't know. I just know. Retell the story. Okay. Here are the stories. So the stories are: the granddaughter of Benito Mussolini, the dictator of Italy during World War II. She's a member of the Italian Parliament. But before she was a member of the Italian Parliament, she was a Japanese city pop artist. You can find her music on YouTube. She used to do city pop, and it's wild. Now, that being said, Ando's other wild story was the fact that a friend of mine is actually a legitimate pop star in Thailand. In that, or I don't know, pop star, maybe, I don't know if that's the word for it, but yeah, she lived, she doesn't anymore. She lived in Myanmar, her husband is Burmese, and, you know, did music stuff with the husband, and their music got popular in Thailand to the point that they actually, like, did concerts and stuff. Do you play D&D? The correct answer is no. More details will be available when you buy the DLC. Yeah, fair. Pretty sure Thailand also has idols, yeah, but she's not an idol. Like, that's the thing. Like, she's very much not an idol. Like, that's very much not her vibe. Especially because she's married, and I know that a lot of countries, like, even Japan, like, Japan does it, but I know a lot of countries aside from Japan do the whole, like, idols have no relationships outside of being an idol. But no, she's married and has, like, 3 kids, so, yeah, not quite an idol, but yeah, has been successful musically in Thailand. Which I still think is totally wild. Everything is inefficient, and I would love to make things. I don't know. Some of it's toxicity. Some of it is other things. There are a mixture of different reasons as to why they do these things. Some of them are good. Some of them are less good. Mostly a reflection of the audience. Somewhat. But I think part of it also comes from just the old school, like, Japanese way of, kind of like what they did in sumo. Like, sumo's kind of similar, where it's like you go to be a sumo wrestler, you join a wrestling stable, and, like, you train at that stable every day, and, like, they have a lot of strict rules on, like, no outside relationships, no, like, going out drinking, a whole bunch of rules they have, you know, and it's in order to kind of make you a better athlete, sort of thing. And I think a lot of it also kind of comes from that. It's just this idea of, like, you join an organization, you have to follow organizational discipline. There's like a gang or a cult. Yes and no. It's more just that, like, Japanese systems for certain things are a lot more traditional and follow, I guess, it's a lot more a collective principle. Because we used to have similar things in the West. Like, for instance, when they started giving women jobs, it was like, because women didn't have rights, you know, they couldn't own property, but it was like, okay, but you're being paid, so, you know, we can't just let you go out on your own because you're a woman. So it was like, you actually had to get a job with a company, and they would, like, provide you housing. They would have a barracks for the unwed women who would live there, and they would get paid and stuff like that, but there were still rules they had to follow, because technically, like, it was like the company took care of you on behalf of your family. Like, it wasn't like, oh, you're an independent person. It was like, no, you're a woman. You'll never be an independent person. So we have to take care of you until you get married, at which point your husband will be responsible for you, sort of thing. If that makes sense. Yeah, we kind of sucked in the past. Yeah, we're not perfect, but we've definitely improved. Being able to own things helps. D&D, but all the combat is sumo wrestling, I guess. There is a RPG rule set that's all about, like, it's based on, like, kung fu movies, and the whole idea is, again, like, doing, like, karate kicks and stuff like that. What do you mean not enough space to pick up leaves? I got an empty slot right there. Man, I could make things more efficient, but I'm not sure how. Again, this is the problem where, like, my brain is trying to rationalize things as I would in the real world. My brain is like, Ando, you should do this, you should do that, you should, like, set it up like this. And I'm like, but I don't know how to set it up like this in the game. Where am I going? Where am I going? What am I doing? Great question, Ando. I was going to go find oil, but then I decided not to find oil. Oh, that's right, I had Power Slug. Power Slug. Time to go and craft. Crafting time, baby. Probably do a bit of crafting and probably do some probably finish up soon. Purple slug. I got some modular frames somewhere. Pretty sure I put them in a box over here. He forsook America. Slug my nuts. Who forsook America? Who forsooth? Modular frames. Cool. Dink, 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 dink. Pretty sure I need 10 of these bad boys. I guess. I don't know. I feel like anything I say about Trump would just be, at this point, redundant. Like, it wouldn't even be funny. It'd just kind of be like, ugh. Like, I don't talk about, like, it's weird. So, I don't talk about politics much on stream. Even though I'm actually a bit of a politics nerd and I talk about it a lot outside with friends because I have very boring friends. I don't talk about it on stream, mainly because of the fact that, A, I want to be not boring here. I want to actually have interesting conversations that are different from the ones that I have with my friends. And the other one is also the fact that, like, I don't want randos to come in and be like, I have an opinion. And I'll be like, great, I don't actually want to hear that. Like, you know, I don't want to hear your opinion, and I also don't want to talk about politics. So I'm 50-50%, like, I'm 50-50 Hassan. You know, he doesn't want to hear your opinion, but he does want to talk about politics. I don't want to talk about politics, and I don't want to hear your opinion. Yeah, and again, at this point, it's one of those things of, like, we're so far down in the basement that, like, can we really get any worse? Yes, but I don't want to predict how. Synthetic power shards. Ooh.
Research completed.
What do you get me?
Purple power slugs
I'm
seem to
crystals.
be near the end of their life cycle and have a significant amount of potential energy stored. It is a good thing Fix-It does not waste. Purple power slugs can now be processed into power shards.
Legalize nuclear bombs. Shadow Wizard Money Gang. I don't know. I'm happy to talk about, like, funny politics stuff. Which is why, again, like, if I ever do some stuff where I talk about Australian things, I will probably talk about Australian politics for a little bit, just because we do genuinely have some funny stuff. Like the fact that, like, America is very formal in their politics, in the sense of, like, they do that whole thing of, like, you may not agree with someone, but if they're a senator, you call them, like, Mr. Senator or whatever. Like, you refer to them by their title and stuff like that. Whereas in Australia, like, we casualize all of our prime ministers. So, like, our current prime minister is Anthony Albanese. Everyone just calls him Albo. Our previous prime minister was Scott Morrison. Everyone just called him ScoMo. You know, there are multiple videos of prime ministers and other politicians out and about in the public, like, trying to do the whole glad-handing thing, and people just straight up telling them to fuck off. Which is just the best shit. Like, it's one of the things, Australia annoys me a lot sometimes, but genuinely, that's my favorite shit about this country, is the fact that we literally just, like, tell our politicians to get fucked. Exactly, Mr. Like, that's a joke in The Simpsons, but it's literally how we are. You know, Mr. Prime Minister! Exactly. I mean, we do still kind of have this thing of, like, you know, politicians being important, but we also just realize that, hey, you know what? Eat a dick. And some of it's fucked. Like, again, Scott Morrison was a dick, and there's a great moment of him when he was out, like, canvassing before an election, and he was in, was it Canberra Matter? He was in part of Sydney, and it's a part of Sydney that's very well known for having a lot of minorities, in particular Asian minorities. And he rocks up to this, like, place, and he just says to this random, like 20-something-year-old Asian lady on the street, he just says ni hao to her, and she just stops and looks at him and she goes, "I'm Korean," in, like, fluent, very accented, like Australian accented English. And if that ain't the biggest summary for his whole run as Prime Minister, I don't know what is. There's a bunch of other amazing ones. There's another one where one of our former Prime Ministers, Tony Abbott, was, like, standing giving a press conference near like an overpass or whatever that was being built. And in the background, a car drives past and you can just hear them yell out, "You're all a bunch of wankers!" Just in the background. There's another Scott Morrison one where he was doing a press conference about, like, oh, we're building all these new houses so that, like, young people can get houses or whatever. And they did it at a fucking, like, newly built housing estate. And they're standing on, like, the front lawn of this house, and midway through the press conference, some guy comes out from the house, like, who owns the house, and he says, "Hey, can you get off my lawn? It just got, like, we just put it down yesterday." And, like, the whole press conference has to, like, awkwardly shuffle off this guy's lawn. Just, like, quality incompetence. Sorry, sir. Welcome in. Thank you for the follow. My name's Ando. We're playing the Satisfactory for a couple more minutes. But yeah, like, again, Australian politics is funny. We're not as funny as, like, Thai politics or Malaysian politics or whatever, where they actually get into fights. But, like, I don't know. Australia, we're too apathetic to actually have proper arguments over things, so we just get into stupid shit. Hello, sorry, sir, and welcome in. Thank you, Vasily, for blinding our newest chat member. Where's my wood? Where's my wood? I'm genuinely concerned. Where's my wood? Biofuel. That's I cut down a bunch of trees. I should have wood. Hang on. But did I not get any wood from cutting down those trees? My inventory too full? No, you didn't need those eyes. You don't need to watch. You can just listen. Thank God it's not dark out. Well, it is somewhere. Just not where you are. Judged by everyone else in chat being like, "Ow, my eyes." What else can I ditch? One modular frame. Singular modular frame. Alright. Thank you, Vasily. Wolf, Aliens Fireteam. Is it good? I don't know, I've been kind of burnt on Alien games for a while. They seem to not be great. See, Mike, now that you've said that, I'm gonna sneak into your house and rig your dimmer to my flashbang redeem so that it goes full brightness when the flashbang goes off. You've got spares? That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. So, fun fact, chat. If you've ever watched Blade Runner, there's the scene where they go meet the guy who makes the eyeballs. That guy is played by, the same actor who plays Poe's dad in, Kung Fu Panda. Neurodream. I'll remember his name eventually. He's a very famous Chinese-American actor. Full offense, but we both know you don't know I don't need to know Linux, Mike. I know PLC programming. I'll throw a fucking Siemens shoebox in your wall and wire it directly to the outputs of your lights. I don't need to get involved with this Linux bullshit. I'll literally just hardwire it. Fucking analog signal. For real, that's awesome? Yes. Too bad, Mike. You pushed me too far. Now I'm gonna put Siemens in your wall, and then the Israelis will hack it and ruin your nuclear program. And make everyone very mad. Yes, for context, that was a thing that happened, probably 10 years ago now. What's the virus called? I'm trying to remember what it's called. Stuxnet, that's it. Stuxnet is a virus. It's a very perfidious virus because it, unlike a lot of viruses, most viruses affect just computers in general, right? Stuxnet is a virus that affects PLCs in particular. PLCs are powered logic controllers. They're specialized computers used for controlling industrial automation. And we're like 99% we know where it comes from. And the 99% is that it came from Israel because they created it to sabotage the Iranian nuclear program. And basically it got out because a engineer in Iran plugged their infected laptop into their home network and it got out into the internet. And it was a big bad in the world of industry when it happened because everyone was like, oh shit, like viruses are bad enough, we can deal with those, but this is a virus that specifically targets our actual production control systems, and like it's out in the wild, it's fucking everywhere now. We did manage, like again, everyone was able to get on board with it and we were able to contain it pretty well, but it still has caused problems. I don't think we've had an issue with it though, because we're air-gapped. But a big part of it was also apparently, again, this is the story I've heard. I don't know how much of it is verified truth. But apparently the way the Israelis developed it was they like went to Siemens, the company that makes PLCs in Germany, and were like, Guten Tag, can we have some PLCs for this program, like this industrial work we're doing? And the Germans were like, yeah, it's good, we'll give you PLCs and like give you all this information that you're asking for. And then secretly, that part of the Israeli government that was ordering that stuff was like passing that information off to like the Mossad and the CIA, who were basically using it to develop a virus. Like it was like they were buying stuff under the pretense of doing something normal, but we're then being like, actually, we're going to ruin everyone's day. At least that's the leading theory. Linux does what I tell it to and respects my paranoia. I don't really dog on anyone for using Apple or Windows, though. People can use whatever they're comfortable with. See, I dog on people using Windows 11 just because, holy fuck, the start menu in Windows 11 is an active, like, it's an active process. It's an actual React. Like, what the fuck? Why do you need to do that? This is the problem with modern technology, is we've gotten so far down the track that people no longer know how to do things from basic concepts. They're like, oh, I only know how to call this thing as a React, so that's how we're going to make it. You know, I don't know how to make a form that actually calls a start menu or whatever bullshit, I don't know. To be true, I don't actually know how to do it either, but it's one of those things where you kind of like, this kind of sucks. And I don't want to upgrade to Windows 11. I really don't. It's been a fucking nightmare at work having to upgrade to Windows. I haven't done it yet. But certain parts of our workplace have upgraded to Windows 11, and the general response has been, fuck Windows 11. It's been causing havoc with a lot of our security stuff. Copilot has also been a source of great pain because they keep trying to put Copilot in everything, and we have to keep talking to Microsoft and being like, stop putting Copilot in everything. And they're like, but why? It's AI, it's good. And we're like, yes, but we don't want it to get into certain things here because we have proprietary information that it shouldn't have access to. Like, just stop putting it in everything. Yeah, I think that's the other one with Windows, is I'm very used to the UI. And like, again, like, here's the thing as well. Windows 10 to 15 years ago was really good. And I say this as the son of someone who was a CIO, a chief information officer. Like, she basically, my mom was in charge of, like, setting up IT infrastructure in companies and things like that, right? And Windows was really, really good because Windows was really, really integrated in that all of their shit worked together, which was really, really good for a business because it meant that if you worked with Windows as a partner, like as a business partner, because you were a big enough company, they gave you support and everything kind of just worked. It all plugged together and just kind of ran. and it meant all your systems interoperated very well. It was, it was very good in that regard. But in, the past couple of years, Windows has gone downhill dramatically because they keep just putting bullshit in. How have these become less efficient? Oh, is it because everything's backed up? Maybe? I don't know. They're not quite running at 100%. I don't like that. And 99% of games can run on Linux now. Steam Deck is Linux. You can emulate the UI, but there's unavoidable learning curve, even the easiest to use distributions. Yeah, that's one thing that I don't get, Mike, is like why no one, and I probably get why, because Linux nerds are Linux nerds. I'm kind of surprised that no one has built a Windows facsimile skin that sits over the top of your Linux to be like, hey, this gives you a UI you are familiar with, but with the backside of and benefits of Linux. And again, probably spite. Like, again, I feel like it's probably a bunch of Linux users being like, ugh, you want a Windows interface? Just learn to do Linux instead. I will say this for Linux, though. The majority of trains in the world are run on Linux. A lot of trains get run on Tux. Alright. I think we're done. I've too much yapping, too much running around. Alright. I achieved something, I think. Again, this is my problem with Satisfactory, is I'm very bad at actually achieving things. It kind of gets to a point where I just let things run, and I'm like, I don't know how to make this any more efficient. Anyway, let's hit the save arena. And, let's go find someone to raid. Help me learn Linux system and stuff. Maybe find some tutorial or something. Yeah, we have to do some Linux at work, so we have a repository system we use, an SVN repository called Tortoise, and it's free, and it's built on Linux, but I hate it because anytime I have to add a user or a repository, I have to go into PuTTY and be all like, sudo, do this, sudo that, and it always scares me. Anytime I have to use a command line, it scares me. Who do we want to raid? This is always an interesting time of the day because I have to figure out who I'm raiding. Raid an Astrid. I like to raid the Astrid. Of course it's called Tortoise. Yeah, because it's fucking goated. That's why. Put Linux in the same as Windows UI, so I think the UI thing already does exist. Yeah, that's fair. We've done some Raspberry Pi stuff at work. Not me, but other people have. It's questionable. I mean, you can do anything with Raspberry Pi, I get that, that's the point, but it was one of those things where, like, the stuff that we did was kind of questionable of, like, is this actually good, or is this a kludge? And it's a bit of a kludge. Alright, I'm gonna send you over to see Astrid. She's playing the Master Chief. I'm gonna, where's the thing? Also, Mike, that reminds me, you did get hit with the yes and the no today, I hear. Raid 2. There's your raid messages for those of you who are subbed and for those of you who aren't. I'll be back on Thursday. I'm still not sure what I'm doing because I never am. But yeah, I'll see you then. So, also thank you for loving Sari, because Sari deserves the love. No, Cozy, you shut the fuck up. You shut your mouth. You treat Sari with respect. Sari is goated. I don't like to yell at people, but we respect Sari in this house. Yes, but no, we respect Sari in this house. I've told this story before, but I used to be known in my workplace for saying the phrase, well, yes, but no. Because they'd come to me and be like, hey, Ando, is there a good way to do this? And I'd be like, yeah, that's a way to do it, but no, actually, let's do that. 3636 call, that sounds dubious. Good thing you showed up at just this right moment. We're gonna go raid Astrid in 20 seconds. Actually, no, we're gonna raid her now. Bye.
We landed